shonen protagonist voice.
Fucking listen. I had to build 400 3D models for this stream, Arthur.
Had to is a strong way of putting that.
Oh, I think we're live.
Yes, are we on the internet?
Well,
Probably.
who's to say?
Well, the show still shows offline right
Oh
now.
yeah, we're
but,
live.
Oh, are we
Oh,
live?
never mind.
Okay. All right. So, I'm gonna start, and then you guys will speak, and that's how streams work. It is the early 2000s. You have just come back from school. You flick on the television, and you flick onto Cartoon Network. There is a 3D spaceship slipping slowly through outer space. There are twinkling nebulas behind it. The 3D is quite low poly, and the screen is quite fuzzy because, well, you know, it's low tech still. A 3D character comes on the screen. Coming up next, it's the series finale of Beam Saber, Strike Don't Linger, and Move Forward. Episode 26. One way or another, we're all going home. The opening titles begin of Beam Saber, Strike Don't Linger. As I switch to the right tab in Roll20, and then switch myself to the right tab in Roll20, so I have the title card up for moral support. It is the 9th year of the First Spatial War. The New Frontier, a faction of dreamers and explorers, regardless of material cost, seek to escape a dying Earth's gravity. We had our chance to save it, and we couldn't. It's time to break for the next real opportunity. The Home Guard, Earth's self-appointed defenders in a fleet of hand-me-down and upcycled AWVs, seek to stop them. We've made our bed. It's our duty to lie in it and salvage what we can. Between them, the Express Corporation, innovators and tinkerers pushing the limits of technology, blooming beneath the heat of the war, playing to both sides. The Sunny Skies Transport Company are caught in the middle, contracted to bring the heir of the Express Corporation, twice gold, to the home satellite while defending the Express Corporation testbed ship, the Deity Express. Ensuring the safety of both from competitors, the other sides of the war, and factions within the Express Corporation itself. In late November, the entire board of the Express Corporation was killed by an unknown assailant. By New Year's, Twice Gold must sit at the head of the executive table at the home satellite. The Express Corporation Consistency Committee pushes back, regards Twice Gold as too young, too inexperienced, too naive. They have their own candidate, the ambitious and wicked Darling Bitten, who'll stop at nothing to bring the Deity Express to heel. She hunts the Sunny Skies and their contract with all of her will, desire, and fury, backed by those within the Express Corporation's wealth and power. It is New Year's Eve. Hours remain, and the home satellite is in sight. Beam Saber, Strike Don't Linger, and Move Forward. Episode 26. One way or another, we're going home. Hi, hello. I'm Fee Hazard. I use the she and the hers. I am kind of a nuisance. I built an anime this week, and that was tiring. I'm going to be GMing this game. We're playing Beam Saber. Without the Strike Don't Linger, we're just playing Beam Saber. Joining me today, we have Artie. Hi, do you want to introduce yourself, there, fella?
Hey, I'm Artie. I like to play games. I use the he's and the hims, and I just spent the last 2 months catching up on episodes 1 through 25 of Strike Don't Linger.
Oh, good. Who are you playing, Artie?
Oh, right, yes. I am playing,
Proud of you,
I am playing a character, and his name is Siege Freed, and he's the ace, and he's the young, plucky sort of shonen pro tag, and the really cool, sleek mech, who I think is the really tall white one on the left here. That's mine. That's my baby. Hi. I love you.
Hello. Welcome. I love you too. Austin.
Hello, my name is Austin Ramsay. My pronouns are he and him. You may be familiar with my work. I will be playing Captain Katarina Ravenisle, call sign Damocles.
Lovely, lovely. And we've got Hawk.
Hi, everyone. My name is Adam. I use he, they pronouns. I am going to be playing Strickland C. Derringer, call sign Ronin. The Infiltrator playbook, and resident old antagonist turned team member.
You Asnobled all over the place. That was a wicked little chuckle. And Ian.
I'm Ian. I use he, him pronouns. I will be playing Plateau Playback, call sign Ironsides. And I'll be piloting the chonky mech in the middle there.
That's its name. On the flight register, we say the chunky mech in the middle. That is the blood from the stone, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent.
Oh, yeah. My mech is the purple one on the right. Name Unforeseen Consequences.
And in the background, we have the home ship, the Sunset's Claire, piloted or captained by Katerina Ravenile. Fantastic. Okay, so this is essentially the last episode of an anime that does not exist. Artie was joking about watching episodes 1 to 25. Do not try and find them. They do not they are lost media, and by that I mean they did not exist in the first place, which is the most lost something can be. This is high stakes. This is potentially high lethality, but it's Beam Saber, so I think unless you do something crazy and scar out 4 times in a row, which would be impressive, I think we're probably fine. But we've got some bits and pieces that make things a little more tense. There are some consequences. It is the last episode of this anime. Your goal and your rules of engagement are to ensure that the Deity Express and Twice Gold aboard it make their way to the home satellite orbiting Earth. You are in space. It is the final frontier, and by that I mean, it's the last episode, and so it's the new frontier are also here. Your role is to ensure that the Deity Express reaches the home satellite without being destroyed. I was going to say unharmed, but what I mean is without being destroyed. I think it probably will be harmed at some point. You may use any abilities at your disposal. You may use flashbacks to earlier episodes in the series, for example. That is the state of the board, I suppose. You have at least 2 other factions in the war who will probably be trying to stop you or trying to bring Twice Gold to their own ends, to their own interests. As I said, your rules of engagement are that wasn't the button to share players. I believe that's now being shown to players, but who can say? Ensure the VIP Twice Gold reaches the home satellite before midnight. Do not irreparably damage the home satellite. Ensure the Deity Express reaches its destination in one piece. And for those of you in the chat, what's up, chat? Give me a. I was gonna say give me a poggers, but please don't do that. Actually, I think I would die.
I'll give you poggers.
You know what? It's still pretty early in the stream. Save it for hour 3. We got to keep them entertained.
You
Got
got
to
it.
keep them hooked.
got it.
For those of you delightful donators in chat, dear listeners, if you chip in $10 here, you can declare the show canon fan reaction to a particular moment in the stream. For $15, you can gift an additional die to one pilot of your choice. Pilot names are along the right-hand side there. $20 declare a character moment or action beat where a bunch of the remaining animation budget got spent. We're on the last episode here, guys. We're a little strapped for cash, but we'll see. $25 suggest a pilot relationship for the next flashback, and $30 suggest a scene for the epilogue, a character, a relationship, a story beat. As everyone knows, Strike Don't Linger had 26 episodes and then a follow-up OVA called And Move Forward, which is regarded as wildly uncanonical at best. So should be good. And I think we're gonna get right into it. We're 30 minutes into the stream. Let's hit the pedal. Let's launch, and we'll see.
I'd also like to
Please.
jump in and say I'm going to be donating $1 for every stress someone spends. So.
Oh, we.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Fella,
Let's
this is
try
a
and
force
get
in the
3
dark game.
stars.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, good luck with that. Right. What we'll do is we'll go swiftly into gathering information, but first and foremost, I want to see what was the previous episode? What was episode 25 like for each character, and what is the first shot we get in this episode of them? So again, we'll go down the board. Artie, do you want to kick us off?
I do want to kick us off.
Okay, good, because that would have been really awkward otherwise.
Yeah, it would have been really weird. Yeah. Yeah, you have to call my agent, renegotiate that
Exactly.
contract. You know? Yeah. Okay, so a bit from episode 25. Um, I like to think that for the not for the I don't want to say the first time, but at this particular time, um, Siege is made to show some restraint. I don't think um, the team was necessarily keen on him getting in the robot right now, considering how he tends to be, which is very gung ho and very direct. And this requires some, at least, tactically and operationally speaking, some tact. So, he was pretty quick, like, yo, let me in, tag me in, coach. And they were like, no, not yet, because, the brand new day, which is his machine, is experimental, is super cool, is the quote unquote Gundam for you know what I mean? And so, not necessarily keen on peeping the hand and showing all the cards that we have right now. And that was a point of tension for him, especially as things like combat and skirmish and things like that have begun to kick off. I mean, we're at the tail end of this arc. Lasers have been fired, so um, yeah, not a fun thing to sit on the bench for a fair bit of the arc. So he's itching to do that, and so I think a lot of 25 was him sort of, clenching his fists and doing that really exasperated anime exhale a lot, watching the action happen outside of the view screen and not really necessarily being able to play in the game himself.
The shot of you sitting on like a crash couch somewhere or something, and you can see the brand new day in the hangar still on like stocks while everything else is out of the hangar or under repairs.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh, that probably
And
was maybe we just came out of a downtime and the brand new day wasn't quite finished with repairs yet. Like if you go out there, you're going out there with one leg, and that's not cool, So yeah, that kind of thing. So maybe by the time he actually launches, the mech is actually finished being repaired and actually ready to rock.
what is the first shot we get of Siege in episode 26?
Oh, it's him putting on his hard suit, his pilot suit, and putting on his helmet, and it's this really great like in profile shot of like him on a catwalk, and the brand new day standing at attention, ready to sort of receive him. And so there's been a lot of that. It probably harkens back to like one of the old openings or something as a very important tableau, um, and it's him getting ready to actually launch and get put in the catapult.
Lovely. And let's go for Austin next. What's the shot? Well, what was episode 25 like for Katarina, and what is the shot we get of her now?
Episode 25 for Katarina was a lot of logistical work. I think there was a point where they met up with a supply ship that they had to defend in alongside the Deity Express and the Sunset's Glare, as the supply ship gave them, food, ammunition, materials to actually effect repairs. And so there wasn't a lot of time where she was on the bridge. So it was a lot of the bridge crew handling things while she yelled at them over the comms and tried to coordinate things down in the cargo bay as best as she could. And then the first shot of her this episode is like it's nighttime, all the lights are dimmed for the crew who aren't on duty, and she's just sort of like meandering about the bridge, running her hands over the various control panels, patting them, you know, says, "Just a little longer, dear. We're almost there."
Oh, you're very good at this, Austin. I mean, I understand why, because you write games and such, but also I write games and I'm an idiot. Hawk,
Hey, be nice to yourself.
I won't.
I hey. Um
Just hey, like a dog.
yeah, hey.
Watch out! I'm going to some ham on the counter.
Leave it. Anyway, I think that Strickland spent the last so in the build up, I think that so Strickland only just in terms of episodes, So there was supposed to be a bit more lead time up to Strickland kind of joining the team, but with the shortened season, Strickland only joins up with the team squad, I think, like 4 episodes ago. And so I think this last episode was him going out on basically taking any kind of opportunity to not be on the ship, to go out if it's going to go and like do a recon, blow something up, like knows
Are
that
you
he's
trying
not
to make
wanted on it.
yourself useful?
Trying to make myself useful. That's exactly it. I think that where we find Strickland at the beginning of this episode is just kind of laying in the little room that they've been given on their bed, just kind of staring at the ceiling with like just this frustrated look on their face.
Neat. And Ian.
I think the episode 25 scene that we get of Plateau is probably he is at his mech affecting some sort of repair. Probably got a entirely too large wrench out, tightening up something. And looking over the, at this point, like, years of battle damage on this mech. I think the first shot we get of him in episode 26 is when is on Siege's way to the brand new day. Plateau is waiting somewhere along that path, and like leaning against the wall, arms folded, straightens up, walks over to Siege, gives a small smile, and just puts a hand on his shoulder.
Aw,
Oh, that's sweet.
I love
I
that.
like that. Yeah,
Does
that's very strong. Lovely.
Does he
Sorry,
say
please.
anything? Does he say anything to him?
I think he says, this is important, Siege. It is. But don't lose yourself out there.
Right. I won't let you down, Coach.
Extremely charming. Very good. Great work, gang. Right, okay, so we're going straight pretty much into gathering information, I think. We get the, I think whether it's on the Deity Express, or I think it's probably more likely if it's on the Sunset's Glare, I'm assuming we have a New Hope style, like, conversation pit, somewhere where we can, project something up. Entirely up to you whether that is on the Glare or on the Deity Express. But crash couches around the place. There is a holographic projection of the home satellite, which we can see off in the distance on the stream, and the surrounding areas. What are we thinking in terms of? Oh, I tell you what. I'll give you a little bit of dialogue. In the room currently is Lieutenant August Germany, who is the captain of the Deity Express. I think in the context of the show, I think him and Katerina definitely occasionally butt heads in terms of he is running a test ship. Sometimes he needs to test stuff, and I think that probably is not necessarily always the most safe thing. He is sat in the kind of back of the room, legs up on one of the couches, wearing like a bomber jacket, and older fellow. One of those characters who are designed so they never open their eyes, because I find that a really fun trope in anime, and wearing a off-brand Kermit the Frog shirt, which I think is very important to add. Additionally, we have Tilda, who is a very large woman. I think Gundam shows are great at always having an extremely tall, powerful woman, and as a very tall, powerful woman myself, I think it's important to include that. She is, eating something, probably like a box of like not actual takeout noodles, but you heat them up in the reheater in the ship, and they come together in a similar way. And we also have Twice Gold, who is kind of wearing like plug suit style thing and a jacket over the top of it. Dark skin, very high, sort of ornately braided hair, but over the course of the show, we've definitely seen it becoming less ornate and more functional as he's kind of, especially since the incident where the bulk of the Deity Express, or the Express Corporation board was assassinated. She's kind of become a bit more serious. And so she's leaning against the kind of hollow projector here. We have the home satellite, which is sort of twirling slowly. We have the current location of the Sunset's Glare and the Deity Express. And in between, we can see some. I think we can see some like distortions and mechanical interference. It seems like the space in between the the ships and the satellite is obscured somehow, and I think Twice like reaches down and kind of thumps the projector a couple of times. Some kind of distortion, not sure what. Implies there's probably something in between here and there, which I can't say I'm surprised by. What do you do,
Yes.
please?
Yes, it does seem to indicate that, Captain.
I think August probably sets up. Implies there's some kind of, well, not to be inelegant, but it implies there's some kind of shit out there. Detritus, maybe. Crash satellite. Hard to tell.
If only we could be so lucky.
Call me an optimist. Big grin.
She smirks.
I think he starts to like pad. In my mind, it's like several tiers with like different couches. So you could fit like 30 people in this room, but there are currently like 7. Um. So what are you guys doing in terms of gathering information? You may ask me questions, and I'll say if it's necessary of a gathering information role. Keeping in mind the timeline is probably quite short here. I think this is you're due to arrive at the home satellite or be within kind of battle range, I guess, within like an hour. So you probably couldn't build a new weapon to your mech or something like that in this time, or at least not without clocks starting to tick. Any immediate inclinations from folks or any more dialogue we want to focus in on?
I'm really into like this it doesn't and if everyone else doesn't necessarily have to be framed in this way, but I love the idea of Siege being in this briefing room, and the gathering information sort of coming from him interacting with the projections and the sort of the chessboard such as it is. um and I was looking at the aces gather information questions here, and I really like what's the best way through, because it feels like there's some some scan lines here, some trajectories, some flight paths, right? That are this is a very active and dynamic map, right?
Definitely.
And so he's looking at that and all this noise, and he's like, "How are we going to get through all that?" And he's sort of pointing, gesturing widely at this disturbance thing on this distortion on the map that no one has defined yet. He's like, that sounds like a problem. How are we going to get through it?
Listen,
mean,
kid.
we go slowly and we go safely, or we go quickly and we go dangerously. I think he inclines his head towards Strick.
Listen, kid. I've seen you guys tackle pretty bad odds before, and you always find a way to get through. So keep your head straight, and we're gonna be just fine.
We don't have to go dangerously nor slowly. There's a third option. We move smartly.
Little tilt of his head. The board is yours, Captain. I think there's a lot of, as he is a lieutenant, I think there's a lot of him being, stressing the captain in your relationship. Sorry, Ian, did you have something to add there?
I just think Plateau smiles when Katerina says that and notes that that sounds like the Captain Damocles we know.
So I would like to gather information.
Stop.
And the way I'm going to do that is the captain has a special piece of gear called command comms. Your vocal transmitter can send not receive encrypted messages over long distances.
Interesting.
So I am going to use that, and I am going to command local. She's from the Home Guard, so she's going to command local, or her history is with the Home Guard, the Earthside faction. So she is going to command Home Guard forces in the area to send their current locations to her ship under the guise of being a fellow Home Guard frigate so that she can form up with the fleet.
Love that. Excellent. Smart characterization. Do it. Let's roll something. I feel like that's potentially scan.
Oh, I was going to roll command because I'm commanding
Oh, I
them
see.
to
Because
send.
it's actually the relationship. Yes, sorry, I'm
Yes.
with you now. You did use the word command quite a lot in that sentence. Now I look back on it. So please, by all means. And that's a
That's
5 and a
nice.
6 as well.
Nice.
Lovely.
Nice.
So, you've kind of described yourself as a home guard frigate or something like that. I think you do get the what you get is that sort of directly on your path between the home satellite and well here, there is somewhat of a stalemate. There is essentially throw these onto the roll 20 quick. There is essentially a few squads of Home Guard AWVs and a few squads of New Frontier AWVs, and they are kind of squaring off at each other. I think especially as you come through as a fellow quote unquote Home Guard you know group in that situation, they do send you out like kind of an atmospheric warning, clarifying to watch out for a asteroid field, an artificial asteroid field, which has been kind of liberally draped across this sector of space. One of the things just in terms of having fought against the New Frontier before, and in general, just by being a ship pilot in this world, is that the New Frontier, one of the things that their frigates and their larger ships can do is to corral asteroids behind them to mine for resources. They can on ship they can convert into ammunitions and so on. So it is valuable for them to drag along a trail of asteroids. And essentially, what they've done here is taken a fairly sizable amount and strewn them across your incoming path. So it both makes it a dangerous trip in, and it also interferes with scanning equipment due to the high metal content in said asteroids. So, how does that work for a 6 or above? Do you want to ask me some questions as well?
Do the Home Guard have like firm positions on where those asteroids are?
Hard to
Or they're
tell
just
because they're moving, and it feels like sometimes the New Frontier are, re-enabling the asteroid corralling mechanics to essentially send them drifting off vaguely in the direction of the Home Guard fleet. Essentially, what I think is happening here is there is a lot of clinging to asteroids and kind of picking pot shots at the foe from both sides. The New
okay.
Frontier have kind of direct control over the asteroids, so I think they have a little bit more of an advantage.
Katarina bends over the console controls for the holo display, enters some commands, and populates the display with the battle lines and the asteroids. She smiles warmly at her fellow captain and says, "Smartly."
Evidently. another wide grin. But he is now also like mirroring your position. I think he's probably stood behind Twice Gold, but is leaning slightly like one-armed over the glowing map screen. We get a lot of very good underlit lighting of you guys leaning over this hollow map, which is the traditional thing of like little 3D models rotating in space on a little circular table. Maybe there's a projector just directly below it. Very well gathered. Nice work there, Katarina. Anyone else have some information? Sorry, please.
I was just going to say, do you want me to feed the next line to someone?
Do it. Feed a line.
Ronan, as someone with outside experience, do you have any input on this situation? Oh,
I think what you see is Ronan doesn't like size, and then you could see them studying this battle map. Their R's kind of darting back and forth. Clearly, these factions all have their own ulterior motives. Any kind of peace has always been tenuous at best. I don't even know if we need to directly engage. We could just let them go at it, try to maneuver past them. Losses could be minimal. We can keep them distracted.
Ironsides, your thoughts on Ronan's proposition?
I think I narrow my eyes a little bit at Strickland while while he's saying that, and um you know it's fine if it works, but I'd like to know more about who it is who specifically it is that we're up against here. Now that we know what's given us all this interference, maybe we can clean that up a little bit. And I want to see if, especially because I have a lot of experience with the parties fighting in the first spatial war, if I can identify if there are threats beyond sort of, for want of a better term, like basic grunt mechs for either side deployed here. Like, are there out of the ordinary assets that are more dangerous than anything else here?
Interesting. Yes, definitely. Let's roll something, try and work it out. How are you doing that? Is that something where you're foraying out into the battlefield, or are you the Sunset's glares and the Deity Express's sensors? Is this you using deduction based on the feeds that we've already got? What are you doing?
I think this is knowing that we're dealing with interference from this asteroid field, adjusting the sensors here to compensate for that a little bit, in order to be able to get more detailed results that we can then interpret.
Lovely. Do it.
I think that's a scan.
That makes sense to me. I think you're definitely using these, it's interpreting the data from these vehicles as scanning equipment, right? This makes sense to me.
Okay.
And there's a 6. We've got some high rolls today. I'm not gonna have to do anything. I can just let you guys talk.
I'm scared that we're getting our 6s during the low stakes stuff.
Interesting. Bold of you to assume that any of this is low stakes, but I appreciate you, Hawk.
Sorry, sorry that we're getting. Sorry, continue.
No. You finish.
I was gonna say, sorry, I should amend. We're getting 6s on the stuff that don't have position and effect. That's the thing that scares me.
Oh yes. Verdine in the chat says start strong and tragic, which is actually how I begin and end most days.
And I will say this is actually, I guess, technically better than a 6, because I think I'm anticipating possible threats in the current situation here, in which case Bodyguard gives me +1 effect.
Interesting. So we've got a higher degree of effect here. Huh. What will I give you?
Who's most dangerous here is the question I'm sort of angling for.
Noted. There are definitely some high-value targets on both sides. I think I do have their names on hand somewhere. One moment. I think we do have, the New Frontier unit symbol has been deployed, which is a kind of... They're still using standardized mechs, but maybe they've got, fine weapons crafted to them and things like that, right? It's a higher quality vehicle. These are the, test-type Zaku's as opposed to the out-of-the-box Zaku's. So the New Frontier unit symbol has been deployed, headed by Kanan Shale, he, him pronouns, who is... probably an ace, right? An ace is like 10 destroyed mechs, so that sounds right to me. And then on the other side, do I have the same details written down for both? That's really annoying. On the New Frontier side, we have the unit symbol. On the Home Guard side, I think... what is a good name for a Home Guard unit? Because I'd apparently forgotten a popular... let's say Willow. I think they're named after trees because that's neat. We have Kanan Shale, who is again like kind of head of a decent unit. They're not pulling out all the stops, but they both recognize Twice Gold as a high value target. And someone who currently the Express Corporation sells essentially to both sides of a war. They're Anaheim Electronics-ing it. And they recognize that having the CEO kind of under duress would be immensely valuable for them in this state. What you also see, I think, with the greater effect, is you see... How do I best describe this? Briefly, to the point that you momentarily think it may have been a glitch to the system or something like that, you catch a glimpse of your own mech signature out in the asteroid field. And it's not a comm signature. It's you recognize the particular heat map from the engines. You recognize the particular movement pattern. It appears to be reminiscent of your own vehicle.
I think I'll stab a finger into the hollow map, disrupting the projection a little bit around my finger towards where I see that, and goes, there's at least one Kalima class hiding out there. And that's after pointing out the two other pilots we know about with their mechs.
Good. You can ask me one other question if you'd like. Again, respecting the increased effect and the 6 as well. No pressure. If you don't want to, then by all means, but it's there.
Good. Oh, go ahead.
No, if you have a suggestion, I'm happy to hear it.
I was just gonna say, could you hold it for like a little bit and then come back to it if you think of something before we finish this phase? But if you've got something on deck.
No, I'm fine. Let's see if we get something that clarifies where we can use that. That works for me.
I like that. Artie, Hawk, any particular gathering information that you want to roll, or are we happy?
I'm not sure what Strickland would do here that would actually initiate like a gathering information. I think very much still walking on eggshells as well, and I think he doesn't have like old contacts he can reach out to. He burned both figuratively and literally the place he left, so I don't think I'm going to be doing any specific gathering information roles here.
Good to know. Artie?
Yeah, it's not so much of a gather information question as much as it is a vibe for a flashback later. Which I think I'll just keep for now, I think.
Okay, neat. Well, it sounds like we're coming up to the end of gathering information then. No, Austin, you're doing absolutely fine. You wrote this game, and I will skip things or forget things by all means. If you want to make use of that question now, Ian, then by all means. Alternatively, we can take that through into the mission proper. Okay.
Let's say what's are is there anything out of the ordinary going on with the home station itself, or are we detecting anything out of the ordinary with the home station itself?
That's interesting. I think what you're able to tell, I think some folks have tried to send out like standard greeting comms and so on. The home satellite itself seems to be in a comms blackout currently. You would normally expect even like, when you're pulling up to a station, one of the things that you see is, hi, this is the station. Please approach at this speed. Please, our docks are on this level of the station, and so on. And that has been entirely cut down.
Little
There
lines
is-
of blinking lights deploying out.
Exactly. And all of those external communications seem to be currently out.
Well, that's concerning.
Yeah, the station's too quiet. Do you think is Twice Gold here with us as well?
Yes. You've got
Uh,
in the room Twice Gold, the heir to the Express Corporation. You've got Lieutenant August Germany, who is the chap who leads the bridge of the Deity Express, which is a smaller bridge in general. It's a smaller ship than the Sunset's Glare, but it's present. Does have some level of its own armaments, but not as significant as the Sunset's Glare for obvious reasons. And you also have Tilda, who is the head. The Deity Express has its own kind of built-in gang of mechanized toughs. So she is the head of that little group. They have their own little small-scale AW.
then I think I'll look at Twice Gold and say, the board isn't rolling out the carpet to welcome you. It seems.
I mean, the board is dead, so I would be surprised. It implies someone probably knows we're coming, which isn't a great surprise, but has me on edge. I'm hoping we don't show up to a massacre. I think August sort of pauses for a moment and then looks up. I think I liked when the kid was a little more optimistic.
We'll get you there. Don't worry.
Little half smile. Despite the fact that she, in the last month, her parent was the CEO prior to this, so there's a personal stake there. I think, we get a shot of her looking up across the board at you, still illuminated in that kind of blue holographic light. And I think, they have bags under their eyes. They're deliberately trying to probably look and dress a little bit older, I think, but their eyes are still bright, and they catch the light of the holographic display.
I think Strickland kind of makes eye contact with Twice Gold and goes, "Are you ready for this?"
I mean, I have to be, don't I?
True, but you have to remember, we're responsible for you. So we need you to be at your A game too.
I think that was. We get the shot of her leaning forward, there are two ways where you can ask, "Are you ready?" It's, "Are you ready? We're concerned for your welfare," and it's, "Are you ready? Our job is to get you here safe, and you need to fulfill a role in that." And so I think we get the slight lean forward, and then the follow up, and she leans back, crosses her arms, nods shortly. Just keep in your lane and get us there safe, all right?
I can do that.
Eyes momentarily narrow. Characters are fun.
Characters are
yeah.
fun.
Are we ready to launch? Does anyone have anything else that they want to talk through before we start talking about, approach and so on?
I would.
Oh, go ahead.
Please.
So while people are suiting up to prepare for launch,
Mhm.
Katarina heads over to Siege and sort of leans in and says, "You were very quiet during the briefing. What's on your mind?"
I don't know. I've just been thinking.
Dangerous stuff, that.
Well, you told me to think more,
I'm glad you've been listening.
What if there's no way out of this? What if I can't break through the wall?
You don't got to break through any walls. We will break through the walls together.
Right. You're right. It just I think I think the Brand New Day is probably in the shot somewhere, or there's like a cut to it or something, to show that like there's a lot of sort of capital G capital P glorious purpose inscribed into this thing, and it just feels like I have to Siege has to sort of match up to it every single time. I have to be as good as this machine is, otherwise I'm nothing almost. And I think probably the show has probably been sort of this him trying to come to grips with the question that asks of him.
Mm-hmm.
And
What
I
if
think now,
the Gundam gave you anxiety?
yeah, imagine. And it's this question of like, what if I'm not enough? And then it's this response of but we are enough, and that's what's important. And that I think he softens at that. I think he smiles at that. I think he just says, "Thank you for everything. I don't think I'd be here if it wasn't for you."
Her ever-present grin grows a little bigger, and she pats Siege on the shoulder and says, "We all got here together. We're all gonna finish together." And then
with a nice
heads for the
curt
bridge.
anime nod. Yeah, for sure.
Lovely. Do we get any pre-action powwows from either? I have character names up, I promise. Plateau or Strickland.
I feel like we have to have. I don't know. Just so so for me with I feel like I definitely want something, no matter what. What are our beliefs? What are your beliefs about me?
Love that. Do not mind bringing this on camera at all, please.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Let's see. You can't ever really trust a traitor, and as sneaky as he is, Derringer may be the key to getting me what I need to retire.
Okay, good. That's great, because mine are Ironsides should have retired years ago, and I'd never tell him this, but I trust this old soldier to have my have my back in a fight. No, I think what it is I don't think that I'm like actively approaching you. I think that we're like getting some stuff ready, and we meet in the hall, and I kind of stop, and I think we just glare at each other for a little bit at first.
That sounds right.
And then I'm just like, Plateau, do you think that they're ready for this? Open warfare?
I think we are. Don't know about you.
Been ready for years. That's what I was training for. Listen, Plateau. You don't like me, and I don't like you. But we're in this together, for better or for worse. I just need you to make sure the team sticks together on this. This is it. This is the big push we've been waiting for. I need to make sure that this wasn't all for nothing.
We're going to find out soon enough. But if things fall apart,
I think that just kind of goes. I think that sentence just hangs in the air. Strickland narrows their eyes, goes to say something, and then turns around and just walks away.
Cool.
Excellent. We had the teamwork scene and the opposite of teamwork scene. That was great.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was. That's what I was talking about. Where I was like, there has to be some kind of contrast there.
Yes. I enjoyed if this falls apart, ... and left it to hang. That was great. I'm having a good time, y'all. Y'all doing great. Nice
This was
work.
fantastic.
So, what does our engagement look like here? Does anyone have any thoughts with regards to approach? And does anyone have the page of Beam Saber open where it talks about the different kinds of approach?
That would be a smart thing to do, wouldn't it?
I have
Yeah, I
the
did.
PDF open, so I can find that quick.
I also have the PDF open, but I'm just searching the word approach. And Austin, did you know there's 31 mentions of the word approach?
Engagement roll, page 44.
I was on page 32. I was so close.
There is also, for what it's worth, on the character sheets as well, just a quick, here's a list of the different plans
Oh.
and the thing you need to figure out too, which is nice.
That is nice.
I think that we
So,
I think
do we want to
kick-
maybe roll through each of the 6 engagement plans just to begin with, and then talk them through? So, assault is open violence against the target. The detail is the point of attack. Deception is luring, tricking, and manipulating the target. The detail is the method of deception. Scientific is engaging with technological power. The detail is the unusual procedures used. Social is when the squad negotiates with, bargains with, or persuades the target. The detail is the social connection. Stealth is for taking action undetected. The detail is the point of infiltration. And transport is carrying cargo and people through danger. The detail is the route and the means. Anyway, sorry, Hawk, please.
Yeah, so I think that based on how we've like laid out the plan and what we've brought up, I think I could see us doing something for assault, deception, or stealth. Specifically, I think that what Strickland was alluding to before was probably more either deception or stealth, which is there's already open conflict going on. What can we do to strike while they're not looking?
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Without
either
lingering.
bypassing them completely, which would be stealth, or deception would be more having them full on go each other and then hit both of them while they're weak, I think.
Interesting.
But I'm also open to what everyone else has to say. Of course.
No, but it's good to share that thought. I enjoyed that. Thank you. Anyone else got vibes?
I have a pitch. I was also thinking deception, but rather than to attack them, to get as far as we can through the asteroid field between them before we have to open fire. Just by as
Oh, I
much
like
time as we can.
I like that from an anime vibe standpoint too. Like again, for the meta narrative of the show, of there's that pressure and the
Mhm.
stress of like how far are they going to get? Are they going to get caught? Are they going to attack? What's going to happen? I really like that as like the meta narrative.
Play up the submarine warfare vibes.
I was
Yeah.
definitely
Submarine was
thinking
exactly,
I
yeah.
was
Yeah.
thinking the exact same thing.
I do enjoy that.
That puts a lot of like narrative power behind one missile, you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
The lock on noise, you know? It's yeah.
Do we think that's the... Sorry, Hawk, please.
Oh, I was about to ask the same thing. You're good.
Oh, I see. Let's say it together. I'll say one word and then you say the other, and in 4 hours we'll be done. So, are we thinking that it's deception in terms of luring, tricking, and manipulating, and the detail being essentially we're going to try and get as far as we can into the asteroid field without them opening fire?
Yeah.
I'm into that, yeah.
Sounds good to me.
So yeah, is this? I think we're cutting hairs at this point. Is this technically deception or is this stealth?
I think it's deception. Unless we are I was imagining that we were, like talking to both sides, being like, "Oh, we're just a transport ship or
Okay.
whatever." But
Oh,
Interesting.
we could also try and I figure stealth is improbable because we are at least two ships, and I know the Sunset's Glare doesn't have any kind of stealth capabilities. And we're in
Mm.
open space as we
Mm.
approach this, so I figure that we're probably going to get spotted at least on our way in.
No,
Yeah,
I think that makes
wait.
sense. The detail that we're trying to figure out is how we're deceiving them to like get it close as possible, as opposed to we're not trying to figure out how we're infiltrating. So that makes sense.
Okay, so the method of deception is essentially arguing with both groups on comms as much as you can, while also trying to sneak into the asteroid field.
Yeah,
Um,
look, we're just the Sunny Skies Transport Company. That's what we are. Don't look too much further into it. Just
No,
trust the name.
don't do a sensor
listen,
sweep of our cargo hold. No, don't.
listen. The Express Corporation filled this purchase order for 1,500 sourdough starters, and by God, am I going to get them delivered?
It could. I
well,
mean, it could also be. We could be playing up the two sides too. Like we could be on comms. With like. We could be on comms with the opposing faction saying, "Hey, we're here to help you, but the others are in our way. Can you help us?" And then go and just like pit them against each other to get as
I
close as
like that.
possible too.
there's also the fact that the with the home satellite not having any exterior communications, we could play that up as like they're clearly in distress and we are here to help them, and they're neutral in all of this. You don't want to get on the wrong side of the people selling you your guns in this war.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
that. Love that.
We're on diplomatic mission.
From all around.
Okay, so it sounds.
Immediately having left a space battle. Yes, please. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, it sounds like our pitch is that we will pose as a supply and rescue ship here to meet up with the home satellite to check in on them.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. All right. Who's rolling the engagement roll?
I will. I'm the captain.
Excellent. Something down with your ship. No, it'll be fine. Is
Not down, through with your ship.
move smart. Is the mission bold? Take +1d, or is it especially complex? Take -1d. It is intrinsic. There's a lot of external factors there, but I think it is also pretty bold. So I'll give you a dice for that. Starting off on 2. Does the mission exploit the target's vulnerabilities? Take +1d. Yeah, you kind of. I think that's odds or evens, because you're also having to go through the middle of an asteroid field in the middle of an active battle. So I'd say that's probably not ineffective, but it probably isn't the most effective. Is the squad receiving external support for the mission? Take +1d. Is anyone interfering with the mission other than the target? Take -1d. So you're back down to 1 dice. Are there any other factors affecting the mission? Take +1d for each. That benefits the squad, and -1d if it hinders them. Any pitches with regards to other factors impact?
Oh, we're very pretty. Please give us another dice.
Ah, I see. That old chestnut, that does work on me. Okay, so that's +2d. But again, you're going through an asteroid field, so I think -1d again, so it's 1 dice overall.
That's-
1 die. Okay.
You know, it was
Is
worth a
there
shot.
is
Please.
there a button for the engagement roll, or am I just /R?
Why, yes, I think there is. I tell you can roll a /R1d there. I think I trust you on this one, Austin. And that was
5.
a 5.
Hey!
Starting off
Hey.
in risky, which I think
Nice.
lines up. That
That
seems
lines up.
right.
Yeah, that's narratively correct.
And
Um,
we'll be okay because we have the ability, time is running out
mhm.
from our squad playbook because we are playing the hunted playbook.
We should
You're
probably
being
talk
hunted.
about that.
No, it's probably fine. It probably won't come up.
Yeah, it definitely
Please.
doesn't impact every roll.
Yeah, exactly. Talk about being the hunted. As we get the we get the shot of the lights are low. I think you're in like battle lighting, which is like red tinted in my mind.
Yeah.
The engines are on like a low murmur, and occasionally you hear like the thunk or the of asteroids like grazing against the hull slowly. What is being the hunted, gang?
So I think Strickland is a great, or I guess as player of Strickland, I'm the right person to talk about this. So Strickland was hired by another faction from the pretty early on in the season to basically harry, harass, assault, and try to just overall destroy Sunny Skies. And would constantly show up to try to interfere with their missions or pursue them. Recently defected, of course, bringing valuable intel to the squad. But Strickland's employer is still out there. And hang on, I'm just reading. Should I name drop the hunter or
Yeah,
should I
by all
let that?
means.
Yeah. So Darling Bitten is the older cousin of Twice Gold. I'm just reading from the character sheet that Fee gave us. Darling Bitten is second in line for succession, and the Express Corporation Consistency Committee prefers her over Twice Gold, and basically seems to have had some foreknowledge of this attack coming, and just basically wants to destroy any chance of Twice Gold taking over the company. Now that Strickland is no longer under her employ, she will very likely be coming after us during this mission. And as the hunted, there's going to be a clock that can be ticked either as a consequence, or we can actually tick it to gain, I think, bonuses. But I don't remember exactly how that works 100%. We can choose to tick it as well. Once the arrival clock fills, the hunted shows up, and we got to deal with that. On top of that, though, we do have an ability that gives us bonuses the more the clock is ticked as well. But I will get into the specifics of what that ability is, I think, as it shows up.
Yeah. Something I would add is that this is the arrival clock, which is in the bottom left corner of the screen. It is an 8-tick clock, at which point your rival will arrive. Something that is unique about the Hunted playbook is that she is your rival for the entire squad. So that means she starts off with the usual 8-step rival challenge clock, and then an additional 4-step clock for every other pilot that she's a rival of. So I have a lot of clocks to be playing around with here. We're
We
gonna
love
do
a
some
good clock.
JRPG boss stuff. It'll be good.
Give the people what they want. Clocks.
Yeah, exactly.
20-step clock to remove them from the scene, and they could show up
Exactly.
again.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
And how
We
many
collect
rifle
clocks.
moves do they have?
Yeah. Yeah, they do. No, don't worry.
7?
I wouldn't
7?
worry
Okay.
about it. Rival the old adage is, of course, that rival moves can be used at barely any time. Just really don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Me stroking my large box with an exclamation mark on it. No, it's all good. Don't worry about that. Don't pay attention. Cool. Okay. So, we have you have some communications officers. Probably a pair with like a headset each. And you can hear kind of
I actually have a
Please.
name for my comms officer.
do it. Name
Yeah,
me,
so it's Mr. Prem.
Mr. Prem.
Yes, brown skin, shoulder length, dyed black hair. He's a goth, very dour, comm officer. Formerly the identical twin of Ms. Prell, my gunnery officer.
Yeah, like
I'm sorry.
Monk-
Formerly?
Monka has asked in chat if they can donate to increase the arrival clock.
Yeah, I think a $50 donation will add 1 tick. Does that make sense?
I say, hey, if you get us, how are we looking right now? We're on 3880 right now, so if you get us up to $4,000, yeah, I'll close that clock now. I'll shut down the door.
Well, okay, hold up.
Fine, I'll half fill the clock. But there you are, $120 for my silence. And by that I mean much worse things to happen to the pilots. Cool. So we see this this gothic person. I think they continuously have like the eye bags under their eyes and so on. They have like, in my mind, it's one of those headsets which has a little microphone coming down off one side. And you can hear like almost like bickering basically from each side, and they're visibly flicking between two communications channels. One is sort of stating, oh, you can't come into this space. It's locked down by the new frontier. Another one is saying, oh, listen, we need to send you in like a guard escort and things like that. And I think that's basically what the risk is here. Not only are you coming through an asteroid belt, I think both sides are contemplating sending out, or I think units are being marshaled to come and meet you here in terms of, essentially, they're both trying to send out a guard unit to give you a guard from the other. Which is a very uncomfortable situation to be in, and really rather risky, I say, winking at the camera. And I've made the asteroids a bit larger to show that we're kind of in the mix of those now. So, what are folks doing? Again, I think every shot on the Sunset's Glare or on the Deity Express has, shields glinting or thunks of metal like ore and metal against metal. Are you guys launching yet? Are you tucked up in the hangar? What are you doing?
I feel like go ahead. Anyone else?
Everyone's doing something.
No, that was just a filler. I don't actually have an idea. I know that I like there for there to be, of course, some nebulous time between the end of the briefing and when we launch to allow for flashbacks. But aside from that, I don't really have a preference or like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think this is the finale of the anime. We can't be giving them the launch sequence this early in the episode. Like we gotta build to that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in that case, I have an idea. I'm going to tell Mr. Prim, keep them busy talking to each other as long as you can. Meanwhile, mix a scrow half ahead as we move through and navigate this asteroid field. We've bought ourselves some time. Let's not waste it.
I think,
So I'm gonna
please.
try and maneuver through.
Sounds good. And I think, in my mind, it's the Sunset's Glare kind of in front of the Deity Express, kind of almost like forging a path or, making space for it, but they could be alongside each other if that's more your vibe.
No, I definitely like the Sunset's Glare taking the lead here.
And I think it's definitely the callback to move smart, as we've got this like barely you can't make out individual words, but you can hear now there are both factions are on the same comms frequency, and you can hear that Mr. Pram kind of sits back slightly as like hands up. Hey, look, they're talking amongst themselves. And you can hear bickering, you can hear the grazing of asteroids against the hull. I don't think we're quite at Star Trek physics, but it's occasionally bouncing off of something especially sturdy. Roll plus maneuver for me, or roll maneuver even.
Yeah, what's my position and effect?
Position is risky. Effect is probably standard. I don't think there's anything which is outright stopping you doing so. I also don't think it's like the Sunset's Glare is a sizable ship. It's not like a pot-bellied freighter as we were talking about when we were doing the design stage for this fella. So I do think it's it can muscle its way through this a reasonable amount. So if you want to go up to great effect, then I would understand.
Yeah, okay.
I believe at this stage of the arrival clock, you get increased effect. If I'm
Increased position.
increased position. Okay, so you would end up in a controlled standard state to begin. So risky
Yeah.
standard.
Sorry, how did you say I could get great effect?
I was mistaking how time is running out worked.
Okay.
Although, of course, you could get great effect by pushing yourself, I say, stroking the arrival clock enticingly.
So we do have one of the things we have from the hunted is escape hard points, which gives us 2 free load for mobility items.
Mhm.
So I'm going to declare mobility suite for the Sunset's Glare, if that'll give me great effect.
That sounds good to me. What does the mobility suite on a, like, frigate look like?
So I think that the engines have a greater degree of articulation in their
Interesting.
housings, so that like instead of sort of just like using the maneuvering thrusters to, you know, slightly push the ship one way or another, the whole engine base can like turn up to like 45 degrees.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, in the toy version, that's one of the selling features is that the engines turn.
With real engine turning action.
Yeah, so that gets me to controlled great, and I am gonna push myself by spending a quirk.
Disappointing, but understandable.
Actually, no, you know what? I just realized I can't tick the arrival clock once the rival gets here, so I should save the quirks for when that happens.
This is true.
So I will, in fact, push by ticking the arrival clock once.
As a wise chat once said, clocks, clocks, clocks.
And because of my captain ability, damn the odds. When you push yourself, in addition to the normal benefits, you can do one of the following: ignore an entire level of damage, or intimidate a group of lesser foes into retreating for now.
Interesting.
So I'm going to sort of roll that into the none of the factions on either side, none of them want to potentially break this stalemate.
Mhm.
And so they're intimidated enough to not take any initiative of their own.
Interesting.
Very nice.
Roll it. Let's see how we're looking.
Okay, so this will be 2 dice controlled great.
Mm-hmm. I love the anticipation when you're waiting for a move to come out. It's great. I live for this. I love this game. Austin, great job.
Oh no. Oh dear.
Controlled.
Great. Like,
you know.
oh, you know.
Okay, so I think that definitely does. I mean, there's an obvious one here, which is taking damage. I think it is, I think the part of the intimidation is, listen, you don't want to break the ceasefire. That's a terrible idea. And part of it is, I think, you know what? I'm not giving you damage. While you're saying this, in the background, the Deity Express lurches as a particularly sizable asteroid, which bounced off of the Sunset's Glare due to its sturdier shields and sturdier capabilities in general. But the Deity Express is not sturdy enough and kind of makes actions to avoid it, but is not able to. So it takes, you know, a check of damage. It lurches to one side. They go down to 87% engine's efficiency. But I think that does convince the lesser squad, at least the home guard squad, I think, to pull back slightly, along with your own words. So respecting the fiction. Oop, I'll accidentally move the entire asteroid field because they're all on the same layer. Excellent. We are still currently in the midst of the asteroid field. How are we looking?
We're looking at Adela having donated 25 pounds for rival clocks. So
It does say 4 rival clocks, hee hee. And for the record, Matt having donated $10 earlier on, fan reaction to Katarina's "We don't need to move slowly or dangerously. There is a third option: we can move smartly," which I think this becomes the first half of a Stitch meme format, where immediately afterwards footage is inserted of something going horribly wrong, which I think is momentarily, I think for a minute there is the asteroid bouncing off of the ship here. But it looks worse than it is. I wouldn't worry too much. Good. Good. How much? 25 smackaroos. How much do we want to tick in arrival?
I think one.
Yeah, want to tick?
Well, I looked. I specifically opened up growing conflict as well, and
It's a good point.
so we
The
can
way
also
that
we can
please.
also tick this. Pilots can add one tick to this clock to push themselves, so it's also
Yes.
a resource for us. So
Yes.
I don't actually want to fill it too quickly, so that way we have more stuff to push ourselves.
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna give it a check for now then, and we'll see
Yeah.
how things are affected, because time is running out. Also makes it that when a clock has 0 to 2 ticks, you take improved position, except against the hunter. With 3 or more, that's increased effect, and with 5 or more, that is +1d. So
Yeah.
fun and good and fine.
All right. So Katarina, Ms. Noof, the sensors officer, says, Captain, the Deity Express has taken some damage from the asteroids. Katarina just mutters to herself, of course, and like rubs her temple. And she says, pilots, prepare to launch. I want you in escort positions. We've convinced the two sides to hold off for now, but it looks like the Deity Express needs a bit of a close quarters protection from the asteroids. If you would kindly.
Aye, Captain.
Who's launching, and what's the shot that we get?
It's me. Hi, Siege. Siege here.
It's you. Hi, you're the problem. It's you.
Yes. So it's me. I think we cut back to that catwalk scene, and it's him pretty much running down the catwalk to pretty much hot. Do we have artificial gravity on the ship?
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought the cool floating jump.
Oh,
to
actually,
the-
I guess that's more of a setting call for Fee than it is a ship call for me.
It doesn't. I have 0 horse in this race. Either way, things may happen. So up to you, Austin.
Let's say no. There is gravity.
There is gravity. Do you still have those little handle things that you can use as like elevators to pull you around, or is it a regular standy-uppy elevator?
It's just
gravity
a
would be regular-
normal
regular
elevator, I guess.
Yeah.
Regular elevators. Gotcha.
Yes. Not one of those crappy diet elevators. No.
I know what I'm talking about. Anyway, Artie, please.
Yeah. So it's like hands on like the handles of on the exterior of the mech, and it's him sort of sweeping his legs into the cockpit very emphatically, buckling up, helmet on. You know, HUD is up and running, and then I think it just says Vanguard ready, and Brand New Day is out into the blackness of space.
So I am declaring a ship's catapult for the Sunset's Glare, which
That makes
provides
sense.
increased effect for the first vehicle action taken by those launched from it.
Ooh, that's useful.
That's fun.
Oh, good boy. Hoo-wee. Okay, so someone just donated 100 smackaroos, which is of course the universal currency. It's like
Yeah.
credits, smackaroos.
Yes.
How much do we think 100 smackaroos feeds into here?
We did say that if it hits $4,000, you'd instantly fill it. We are now at 4,005.
Is it filled half?
Yes, and this anonymous tipper does say, "I apologize that I just woke up, and my donation will apparently go to the arrival clock."
Anonymous, you have nothing to apologize for. You're actually my new best friend.
Yeah.
My door is unlocked. Come over and hang out whenever you want.
If we want to roll back the 4,000 goal line, and then there would be 4 more ticks if 25 was 1.
That puts us at 5 of 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Personally, I feel like I hate to do this to Anonymous for crossing the finish line, but I feel like it's not narratively interesting yet for the
That's kind
hunter
of
to
my
arrive.
attitude. I kind of like 5 as a we're past the tipping point now.
Yeah,
works
and
for folk.
I've made sense given where we are in the season, the arc, so on. So it's the money you give us goes directly into the pressure that would have already been on us at this time in the episode. So thank you. It's our budget.
I think what we see is as the brand new day launches, we get the heroic sequence of you boosting out into space. You are on the launch catapult, which is it the traditional launch catapult where the boots buckle in and then you get kind of flung forward as you launch, Austin? Is there something interesting happening here?
No, it's just a normal ship's catapult that you'd see in a lot of different mech anime.
I do the silhouette though of where those locking points are because I like to think the brand new day goes into like that like Olympic runner starting position.
Is there one on the hands therefore as well, or?
Yeah, probably.
Interesting. I like that actually because otherwise you end up getting like thrown backwards by the G-forces. So this
Mhm.
makes sense. As you launch, we see the shadow of the brand new day sort of outlined against the asteroids, right? I think this is clearly new footage. Earlier in the series, it's been the same reused footage of the brand new day launching each time.
Yeah.
But you can tell this is different because the sector of space looks different. And there was definitely, because Strike Don't Linger definitely does that thing that Gundam shows do, where they have either half the show set on Earth and then they go up into space and things immediately become darker and worse, or vice versa. So they definitely have, the launch sequence and then it goes out into blue sky, and then the launch sequence, which is roughly the same, but then it goes out into space. And this is an entirely new piece of footage, and we see the silhouette of the brand new day. Against the asteroids. Do we see something in the background? No, probably not. It's fine. Don't worry about it. What are you doing, Artie?
I am. It's a great question. Um, let's see here. If it feels like I'm in the mech, so it's going to be a vehicle action. I feel like scan is a good or reliable here. As part of doing the sort of escort thing, keeping a lookout, and sort of keeping my eyes peeled for any wayward asteroids or missiles or the hunter, anything like that. So yeah, it's sort of maintaining vigil.
That makes sense to me.
Would you like some help with that?
Yeah, I'd love some help with that.
Are you launching to assist, or is this from the Sunset's clan?
This is actually going to be a flashback to previous in the series. I'm using one of my two tactical genius assists to tell you how I prepared for this.
Yes.
I think we cut to an earlier episode where Plateau is walking Siege through like a target practice sequence in an asteroid field, getting you used to running scanners in a like where there's a lot of objects for producing interference, trying to find, locate a mech in the middle of all this debris and take it out, that sort of thing.
Right. And I think he's a bit of a quick student because he was like sort of like he's from the moon, right? So him being able to, because normally I think that adjustment to working in hard vacuum with all of these degrees of movement is hard for someone who is like born on a planet, right? But for someone who's born in space, it's like, okay, I get it, even though the tactics of the thing may not be as easily understood until you get to teach it to him, which is great because you want to know what my connection is for Plateau.
Sure.
It's you taught me how to fight. I ought to listen to you more.
Aww.
Oh, that's kind of sweet. All right.
And I think this is from, I don't know the exact episode number. I think this is from fairly early in the run of the series though, because I think this is still like the little bit of this Siege starts this training sequence more reluctantly than anything, but is like genuinely impressed by your ability, and it's sort of a small scale version of the I think what has been Siege's broader arc for the series, or not Siege, sorry, Plateau's broader arc.
Plateau, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So it's that I'm playing a large, beefy, dark-skinned character, and so I'm thinking of Siege from Marielda. I'm sorry, it's throwing me off.
No, I get it. I get it. You have to know your audience. Yes.
The
Bass clarinets intensify.
Yes.
The Plateau's arc, particularly with Siege, has been like sort of accepting the role of sort of a mentor for him over the course of the series.
I love it.
We love surrogate dads in mecha fiction.
We do.
And
My favorite dad, Quattro Bagina. Anyway,
do I get to give 2 here because I have 2 connections with Siege? I don't know how that works when I'm not actually spending the stress for the assist.
no, it's 2 benefits. So it's either +1 dice and +1 effect, or +1 dice and +1 position, or so on.
Yeah, and just because they're coming up,
But
I
yes,
feel
it would still respect your connection clock.
cool. And for the sake of saying it, those 2 connections with Siege are the kid has promise but needs discipline, which is probably where we are in this flashback that we're seeing. Whereas I think we've already seen a little bit of the second connection here, which is if Siege isn't careful, this war is going to chew him up and spit him out.
Well, and true. All right. So were you saying scan there, Arnie?
Yeah. I think scan makes sense.
Okay, so we're starting off. I do think this is a risky position. I'm almost tempted to say, respecting the fiction, that this actually starts off in a risky limited position because the asteroid field has been shown to interfere with scanners and so on. So part of the additional work that you have to do is filtering out the asteroid or the asteroid field and the metal in the nearby quote unquote atmosphere. I guess we're still in like really, really thin atmosphere, but you know what I mean. So I think starting off risky limited.
Alrighty. Could I do the switcheroo thing where I put it up to what's the thing after limited?
Standard.
Standard, right? Can I
You want
exchange
to
that for
sacrifice
in
position
desperate?
for effect?
Yeah. Could I go into desperate?
You could go into desperate.
I think I'll do that.
Okay, we're
Oh,
going into
boy,
desperate.
already.
Listen,
Boy.
listen.
Yeah, but
listen.
then he's got the assists and so on, so he doesn't have
Yeah,
to be
Yeah,
in
no, I
desperate.
know.
And it's the finale. Okay.
And it's the finale.
No, I know.
Sometimes you have to drive your character like a stolen car,
That's right.
The stolen mech. Got it.
like a stolen mech.
That's right.
The mech booster.
Great class.
Great
Love
class.
that playbook.
Shout outs to, I believe, Lucas Valenza, but I may have made up that first name. FIFA Valenza. Love
You're
them.
correct
I'm correct that I made it up, or I'm correct with the name?
with the name.
Interesting. Good to know. Adi.
Yes, I am in the midst of doing this role.
What are you taking the 2 boosts as?
Good question.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
you
right.
got that little helpy do there, champ.
right.
Sport. And you can always ask me for a collateral.
So, go ahead. I'm very interesting. I might just do that.
All right, good
So
talk.
I have two options here. I think I want more die, honestly.
That's understandable.
Yeah. So I think I'll take can I do one can I take one of both really? Can I do one die and then have increased this position?
Yes. So that would
Okay.
give you +1 dice, risky. Was it risky standard in the end? Or no, we boosted. No, yeah, it was risky standard,
So
wasn't it?
now it's risky standard rather than risky limited.
Yes,
Okay.
I remember now.
Cool.
Wait, do we get anything else from the time is running out? We also get we're on 5 or more ticks, so you take +1d and increased effect again. So we're up to risky great with an additional extra dice.
So I'm rolling 3 dice.
Yes, I don't know how many dice you start off with. I'm sorry.
I started off with 1.
Okay.
And I got 1 from the help.
Yes.
And now I have 1 from the playbook ability.
Yes.
So we're at risky great with 3 dice.
Oh, that's pretty good. That'll be fine.
Risky
I've checked the
great
graph on this. That's fine.
with 2 bonus dice. That's
There's
6.
a 6.
3, 6, 1.
Hey,
Wowie.
hey.
Um,
Zowie, zowie.
Interesting. Okay, so I think for a 6, how do I show you the barrel of the gun? And you know me, I love showing my gun barrels. I'm actually revolver oceloting right now. Okay, so what you see is it's as Katarina mentioned. I think both of those sort of two factions in the asteroid field have kind of pulled back a little bit. I think from a 6, you can definitely see there is a frigate, the New Frontier frigate design, which has these large solar sails and the kind of asteroid tether or corralling mechanism. And then there is the Home Guard frigate, which is as you know, a huge chunk of metal with some hangers strapped to it that you fire into space. And I think you know, you can see a couple of squads of each kind of lurking around the edges of the asteroid field. They're essentially the New Frontier have a greater degree of control over the boundaries of the asteroid field because they can. I think they're using like big magnets or something like that, some sort of gravity tether perhaps, to like you know bounce asteroids back into the field, not deliberately towards you, but essentially keeping the lines up. Um, Setting up their own fortifications to the home guard. So you can see that. You can see that the COs of the respective squads are kind of milling around. Perhaps you catch a couple of bursts of like unencrypted comms chatter of, you know, essentially marking some degree of the position of their Sunset's Glare and their Deity Express, you know, making note of the fact that one's taken a little bit of damage. We can see some space smoke spilling out of it. And I think what you also see, really briefly, is you do see your own mech kind of dip between two of the asteroids. You see an almost exact duplicate of your own vehicle, except it is entirely red. Very, very specific touch point, and I don't know. I think I've been listening to too much Friends at the Table because they definitely do this at some point earlier in the season. But what I'm thinking of is essentially you know the bit in End of Ava where everyone turns into goo briefly, and for a moment they're just there, but fully, you know, it's a body silhouette, but is comprised
Yeah, but
entirely of
orange
tank.
tang. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. It's that, but it is deep, deep blood red. So,
got it.
so you get you know, this is my gun. Here's the barrel. It's good. It's got my name. VT has it engraved in it. And yeah, you see that. Seems to be, to all intents and purposes, I think you get, you know, almost what you think is comms feedback, because it is essentially your own comms being mirrored back at you.
Right. Oh, that sounds terrible. Because if I start talking
Yep.
to talking to the squad, I'm gonna start hearing that back in my own head. That's really annoying.
Yeah, that's just a little bit of a degree of a delay as well.
Does that phenomenon suggest does
Sorry.
that no, you're good. Does that suggest to me that someone is listening in on what I'm saying?
It could just be a very close range thing. It could
Okay.
be that
Okay.
the asteroids are interfering with communications slightly. You do, you know, you have to perform a little bit of adjustments. You have to turn the little gears next to your communications console to ensure that you're getting a clear signal back to
Mhm.
the Sunset Glare, for example, despite the fact that you're fairly close.
So
You know, hooking around it in
I make those adjustments. I hit the micro thruster so I can get a better look at it. And I say to I go on the comms and I say, Captain, something weird going on out here.
We're going to need more than that, Siege.
Well, it looks a lot like me. There's a copy of there's a machine that looks just like there's a mech that looks just like mine.
Please confirm that.
Can I run my visual feeds to the ship?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a little bit of distortion. But I think it's you know, you do see this flickering image. It's like the you know, there's a lot of CRT screen aesthetic here, right? Hence the character portraits and so on. So you see it's not a perfect image, but you see this transmitted image of what looks to all intents and purposes like the brand new day. It's, you know, the shape is very much the same. The material seems slightly off. And I think it's, you know, is moving probably in a similar manner to what you're capable of. It's darting from asteroid to asteroid. Doesn't seem to be deployed yet. You know, it's not lining up shots or anything like that, but is maintaining continued like visual range on you.
Hmm. I don't like this.
Don't engage. Our goal isn't combat here, we're just trying to get through.
Okay, but what if it starts firing at me?
I didn't say don't defend yourself, dear.
Aye, Captain.
Is this an open comms channel for our crew, or is this a direct point to point for them?
I think it's open for the crew.
Uh, just hold a
Like,
course like you've been trained to, Vanguard. You know how to do this.
okay. Staying course.
Speaking of our course, does this further our progress through the asteroid field and towards home?
It's a good point. I feel like there should be some degree of clock with regards to this, so I'm gonna make a clock with regards to it real quick, and take some chunks out of it to respect the progress you've already made. Because like clocks are continuing to tick, right?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna show you some clocks. Uh, allow me to show my GM credentials. Here are my clocks. Oh yeah, I'll throw those under the token layer for now.
Clocks.
Yeah, it's me. So
Madam Cockington.
that's me. Meowth, that's right.
Me making the connection. There's a Batman villain called the Clock. Go fucking nuts over games like this.
I love the Clock King. He's a good because he's dressed like an old timey king as well. Like he's
Yeah.
exactly what you expect. His face is a clock. What else do you need? Brave and the Bold is fucking good. Anyway, so I have added 3 clocks to the board because I thought 2 clocks was too few for a Beam Saber game. So right now we have competition, which is there is a clock for the Home Guard, which is on 1 out of 8, and there is a clock for the New Frontier, which is on 2 out of 8. Essentially, this is them competing clocks. Whoever completes first, there will be impacts on the mission. You can work in either direction on these clocks if you would so like. There is also an asteroid field clock, which represents your and crucially the Deity Express's progress through the asteroid clock and towards the open space around the home satellite. Any questions?
Is the 2 ticks from something before the scan roll? Because that was with great effect.
Yes, no, I'm taking time as time passes. Like,
Okay.
I think the New Frontier were already a little bit ahead in terms of they have control over the asteroid field. And I made a notch in each clock to respect you forcing them to go back. Essentially, while that wasn't necessarily improving situations for either of them, it was, putting both sides on the back foot, which gave both of them a potential opportunity. So, hence 1 and 2. What are we up to, gang?
Ronan, Ironsides, please launch and see about helping to clear us a path and keep those asteroids off of the Deity Express.
Done.
Is this to a channel that the Deity Express would also be able to hit?
No, this is pilots and sunny skies only.
Noted. I think we get a mirroring scene where, at the same time as the Deity, as the Sunset's Glare is launching its own AWVs, in the background we can see the 3 sort of Gang of Toughs style small mech squad associated with the Deity Express also launching. To match with the Deity Express, these are cherub type units. They're these little, very similar to New Frontier style mechs in terms of they have little tail boosters, little energy wings, and a simple 3 points of load, right? So they've got a decent laser blaster in one hand, maybe some sort of shield in the other. But essentially, they're launching for a very similar reason to why you guys are launching, right? They're popping asteroids if they try and get too close, although they're I don't think the Deity Express has a great deal of weapons, or it has like a rail gun, which if they shoot it is going to power down the entire ship. It's that kind of situation. It's very a test bed system. It probably has very good shields, but it's still a smaller ship. You know what I mean? So a big ass asteroid can take a chunk out of it. So You see these little, you see these little booster lights. You can see the engine trails, and you can see these small mechs popping off on asteroids. So, what do we see in terms of launch sequence? Are you guys both launching? What are you up to?
Yeah, I think we're both kind of we may not like each other, but we're both professionals. So
Yeah,
we're
it's
both
still
just
the
kind of
job,
like
right?
Oh yeah,
we're
yeah.
both yeah. So we're both wordlessly just kind of like climbing into our mechs, doing our checks. Plateau, who do you think launches first?
You, because I don't let you at my back.
Ah, yes, okay.
What?
So I think the inside of Ronin's so the mech that Ronin has doesn't look a ton like any other mechs. It's a prototype that he was given and then stole when he defected. But the inside has like a lot of like switches and buttons to press that they don't look the most polished because this is ultimately a prototype. So I think it's him flipping a couple switches, turning a couple things, and then he launches and you just hear Ronin primed for launch, and then is accelerated out of the ship.
Again, brand new footage for this. I think it's you do some kind of barrel roll as you're launching to narrowly avoid an asteroid that is kind
Yeah.
of drifting slowly across the screen. Maybe we even see one of the cherub type units kind of like bopping it with a laser blast as it gets too close to the Deity Express. What's the What's the launch footage for Plateau?
I think I think Blood from the Stone locks in and gets into the is definitely not able to do any of this fancy 4-point hold lock in or anything. It's the awkward Gundam like slight crouch against the momentum holding on on the catapult. And just Ironsides deploying and shoots out into the void.
Into the very busy void.
Yeah, well,
Considering there is not currently an active battle, we've got a lot of AWVs out here and a lot of asteroids. It's messy.
the crowded void.
The crowded void. That's my backup mech. Cool. Who is acting here?
So is the goal for us here is to support Siege in clearing the asteroids or just getting through the asteroids? Like what was the
We're-
exact command we were given?
Help get us through the asteroids by clearing them. and providing protection to the Deity Express.
Okay.
For a minute there, I thought your entire dialogue was going to be help,
Help.
which I was very amused by. Yeah,
Yeah.
guys, I need you to do something. Thanks.
I think yeah, so I think what I think Strickland is going to do is I think that Strickland is going to kind of hover in front of the ships and you see from like the kind of bulky wrist guards kind of a hatch opens up and two metallic hilts kind of on a claw extend out and into unforeseen consequences hands which Strickland then ignites into these purplish pink laser swords.
Not beam sabers.
I
Listen,
didn't know
we
we
gotta-
were allowed.
we gotta-
I thought that was copyright. I didn't know I was allowed to say that. No, beam
Uh,
sabers. Yeah. No, I'm
I
kidding.
promise not to
Joke.
sue.
Yes, two beam sabers. And I think that what Strickland's going to be doing is, as the ships progress forward, is just going to be like slicing and slicing any errant asteroids that are likely to collide with the ship.
Cool. I like the idea of keeping this with again the two of us having to deploy together here of this being one of us aiding the other in some way.
Yeah.
How would you? So you're taking out stuff close in. I think I want to give you. Can I do a setup action to like get bigger stuff out of the way that might not be as easy for you to deal with?
Yeah,
like
so
that.
I think that makes sense. Like, it's more likely that we're gonna hit like the smaller to medium stuff is gonna hit the ship because the bigger
Mhm.
stuff are usually easier to avoid. But
That's
if
true.
there's a larger one, if you like blow it up into smaller pieces, I can then catch the ones that are actually towards the ship, and so I think that's a
Mm.
perfect setup.
Cool. Then I'd like to do a setup action for you. I think this is literally there is one of those larger ones approaching, and it's straight out of the catapult. Blood from the stone, just like shoulder charge, essentially, right in to break up this large approaching asteroid here.
Love it.
And remember, both of you have increased effect for your first vehicle action because of the catapult.
Plus an extra die, plus increased effect because of the arrival clock.
Yeah. So
You guys are never going to fail. I don't even have to introduce this rival. We're doing a 2-hour stream. It's going to be great.
Oh, buddy.
What? Something wrong? You good though? You good there, gamer?
Oh yeah, doing great.
All right. Sorry, Ian. Please.
no, you're all good. I think this is destroy as the setup action.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Risky.
Yeah, I think we're definitely still in a risky scenario. I think I'm gonna give you standard on that. I guess that turns it up to extreme, but still, I feel like you're in a physical mech. It is fighting rocks. It's not like they're defending themselves, right? So up to extreme effect, potential to I would say potentially clear the. Oh well, we're doing a setup action here, I guess. So it would be improved for Strickland.
Yeah, but if we're already up at extreme, I definitely don't need to declare any vehicle stuff here quite yet to try and
I
boost
wouldn't
that
say
further.
so. No.
And I've got one bonus die.
You've got one bonus die from the yeah, just the one bonus die, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I'm gonna push myself on just this setup action yet.
That makes sense to me. 5 and a 3. So remind me, the consequence for a setup action, does that occur as part of the next roll, or is that now? Do I get to
Now, it's just part of the setup action as a consequence.
Okay, that makes my life a little bit easier. So you're charging forward. I think we do see, you're boosting forward. We see your engines lurch. We see the shoulder catch. We get that really good impact frame of 3 beats where it just catches the asteroid, and then I think the asteroid is thrown wildly off course or breaks into pieces, shatters into smaller asteroids where you can, where Strickland can more easily take them to pieces, right? And I think, we get a comms, a Star Fox style comms cut in of Tilda, the head of the Cherub Squad on the Deity Express side, who goes, you just hear her go like, woo! Give you like a whoop at that. Because, it is exhilarating to be in a small mech and have people throwing things around that are many times your size. And it's just amusing for me to have huge woman, tiny mech. So she takes up most of the comms. You get like a little comms portrait, in your on your comms console. We definitely do the Star Fox thing here. So yeah, you get that. You get her whooping. I think there's a couple more like Deity Express bodyguards in that squad, who I think are a little bit more professional. But because she is facing towards you, she does not see, of course, this blood red direct copy of the Blood from the Stone. Ironically, the blood squared from the stone vehicle moving in her blind spot. Strickland, I think you were just set up.
Yeah, I was just set up, and so I think what this looks like is I think it's just a very much clean, smooth, fast, almost very almost poetic, with just precisionally striking each piece of the asteroid as it goes out. It's not so much that Unforeseen Consequences is the fastest mech, but there's a lot of, again, precision and control with their actions. There's no wasted movement. I'm hoping to use Battle for this because Battle is specifically engaged in close quarters combat, as opposed to Destroy is more like overwhelming destruction through my vehicle.
That makes sense. This is a precise action.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I think risky. I think we'll start with. I'm going to start with standard, respecting the fiction. I know you then get a boost. So you get a boost. Interesting. So you get a boost from. Remind me again. Launch catapult, increased effect or increased die?
Effect.
Effect. Okay, so you get a boost to effect from the launch catapult. You get a boost to effect from Oh no, the setup action. I suppose you can use whatever you'd like. And you get an extra 1d and effect from time is running out as time continues to run out. So
So I think I'll use the setup for my position, which I think narratively makes sense because it's a lot. I'm not likely to come up across a big piece now because it was just set up for me. So I think that this is a controlled extreme roll, which is the first time I've ever heard of that in my life. But you know, and I have one extra D, so we'll go here. We're gonna do controlled extreme with an extra die, and I still rolled a 3.
Ooh.
I
We're
think
banging
I have
around a lot of dice for this. We're banging around a lot of dice to get a 3 out of this. Sorry.
I think I think I have I think I know what happened. I think that if it's okay, if I can offer you a consequence.
Go for it. Please. And everyone is welcome to do this for the record. GMing is a conversation.
So I think that so blowing up that big asteroid, on one hand, yes, that made, you know, like smaller pieces and so on. And I think for the most part, I've been like, you know, smash, smash, smash. But I think that what then happened is the other pieces started ricocheting off of like other asteroids. And so I'm doing fine at like protecting the ship, but I'm getting plunked by a bunch of space rocks.
Interesting.
And so I think it would be very interesting narratively if like I sustained some damage because of something.
Yeah, we've not done a lot of damage actually recently, have we?
Right.
We did
so I
some
think
to
that
the
like
Deity Express. Please.
yeah, so I think that like and I think it's very interesting that that like Plateau did something that ultimately damaged me, but I'm still protecting the ship. It's not actually Plateau's fault, but it is something that Strickland thinks is Plateau's fault.
Which is really the important thing. Any suggestions with regards to damage?
I was gonna say plunked.
Plunked? I want something a bit more actionable, I think.
No,
Dented?
no.
I'm thinking like jammed servos. I'm thinking like
maybe like I think like
dented boosters, maybe?
yeah, like I was thinking I think like something denting, like dented boosters I think makes sense.
Yeah. Burst accelerator, I don't know. I'm thinking of bits and pieces.
Yeah, I think dented booster. I think so. The thing with Strickland's has like has like 2 main boosters and then has several like micro boosters for directional movement. And I think a bunch of those micro boosters kind of got dented, so they still work, but a lot of that precision control is not going to be there.
I like that. Good. I love it. Great work. How are we looking, guys? Sorry, please. What were you saying?
Oh, I think I just out loud said for some reason. That's
Oh, I see. Okay, I do that quite a lot. I would. Well, there we go. Self-proving, self-thinking prophecy. I did it immediately. And then again. Oh no, I don't do that on purpose. Right. What else is everyone doing?
I'm kind of curious about
Curious.
trying to establish contact with the home satellite.
Interesting. I do like that.
Because I'm wondering, because I have a smartphone, I have a long range transmitter, right? You know what I'm saying? So I have these sorts of things,
Mhm.
as sort of pilot gear, and so I'm wondering if I could declare that to try and like. Can you tell me a little bit more actually about the home satellite like itself? Like, are we giving like is this giving colony vibes? Is this like side 7 kind of a thing?
No, it's not as sizable as that. It's probably the Google campus, but in space, right?
Oh,
So,
okay.
like, people do live here. It's mostly like employees of the Express Corporation or their families. You can go and get a haircut. There's a regular shuttle service. You know what I mean? So, like,
Mhm.
people live here. People are probably not entirely paid in Express Corporation script. You know what I mean? They're probably being paid decent amounts of credits to live here.
Got it.
Some amount of that is, you don't live at work, but it's a company town in space, I think.
Mhm. Well, before I try to make a phone call, I do want to talk. I do want to shout out a donation that we got in the form of $33
Donation
and £33 and 33 cents, and free Palestine. Hell yeah!
Good advice.
Giving funds to increase aid and increase the animation budget on the Rivals arrival.
I'm working for you, Soup. Listen, you and my best friend Anonymous, I'm working for you guys. I'm on it. Yeah. So, thank you, Artie. I appreciate you keeping an eye on the incoming donation stream.
Yes, Mocha has been keeping us notified. We're very thankful.
Thank you, Mocha. Also, we are at the 2-hour mark. I know, but I want to finish this. I want to finish my clock. We'll see. Please.
Yeah, I think we
Oh,
could
okay,
probably like take a maybe we do a bathroom break after we like clear the asteroid field or get past the asteroid field. So
That's
Oh,
true.
do-
We'll see how this looks. Let's
Yes.
try Artie's roll. Artie, just really focus on messing up this roll, and then I can fill Arrival, and that'll be a great segue into the commercial break.
You got it.
Remember,
Which
you
will
can
be
take the
10
clock
minutes of me
to
doing
push
90s
yourself.
anime adverts. That's true.
I will push myself. How do you like them apples?
Oh, dang, he pushed himself.
That's
I
too
didn't know he
stressed.
could do
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Well, you can push yourself to take a chunk from the arrival clock, or you can push yourself to spend a quirk. If it's a pilot action, it would be stress.
Let's see. Could I? Okay, so let's think about this for a second. Is this a consort roll? Of the assumption that I'm actually going to be able to get through, or is this an interface roll to try and get the connection in the first place?
Interesting. It's interface.
Okay. Awesome.
I would like to assist. Gonna route the communication through the Sunset Scalare's presumably more powerful communications suite.
Hell yeah.
I like that. I do like the idea that it's, Siege are like using their personal communications just in terms of that's something they're the most familiar with. Like they tool around in the Android APK sometimes and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a bit more of a bit more familiarity with that. I like that at like a personal level. But yes, more than happy for Katarina to assist here. So we're thinking this is interface to begin with?
Yeah.
I have 2 connections with Siege, so you'll get 2 bonuses.
Lovely.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to say this starts off as risky limited, because there are actively things trying to stop you from communicating.
Got it. So we're starting at risky. So we get the benefits from time is running out, right? No, not time is running out.
That's
So-
increased effect and increased die. So it's plus 1d and risky standard.
Okay. So we're starting at risky standard, and I'm rolling 3 die. 3 dice again. Okay.
Well, I mean, Katarina is assisting you. How are you spending those?
Yes. Okay.
Do you have 3 dice in interface already, or was that with the additional die from time is running out?
With the additional die. So I have 1 in interface already.
Right.
To start. One for good luck. Uh, and all right, cool. So I'll take the additional die from our squad thing, and for your help, um, I will take the extra die and I'll take increased effect as well. So we're at
That
risky
is
great.
risky great plus 2d, I believe.
Yes, wonderful.
Roll it. Don't not roll it. I'll know because I'll see it on the screen here.
Secret roll. No.
Secret roll. Cool.
Mixed success.
Considering the amount of dice we're throwing around, we're not getting there, are we? We're not like
Hey,
you know
you
those
asked
graphs
for
that
this.
picture?
You were like, fail some rolls so I can fill the arrival clock. So
Well, it's there. Okay. So that is a risky great. You do therefore get a great effect. This is a success. I think you are able to open up like a slapdash connection onto the home satellite.
Mhm.
I think you basically get through to like a laboratory sub-coordinator. They are, a short white person. They have like ornate hair kind of tied back. They look kind of harried. They're quite young. They're probably like, early 20s. But have kind of bags under their eyes. Because they're a scientist. And they're still wearing the lab coat because this is an anime and we need to be able to easily signpost that people are scientists. Hello? 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 Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, you're coming in clear. This is Sig. This is there. I flubbed that line. Can we do that
I
one
see.
again? This is Siege Freed with the Sunnysides Transport Company. We're coming with a very important person.
I the a VIP. Do you have the hair?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Can
Good.
you open a door or something? Back access passageway, smuggler compartment.
This is a satellite. Why would we have smuggler? We might have smuggler. I can try. Um okay. All right. You've got
Because
the
we're in the middle of a crossfire and there's a ceasefire, but it could get crossed any moment now, and we really need to get through. So if you could prepare a way for us to get in as fast as possible, I would greatly appreciate it.
I'll try, Captain Freed. Okay, all right, I got this. She marshals to like some other, like faceless text in the background. And I think what you notice is like folks were barricaded seemingly in a laboratory. You see this flickering CRT screen. You can see that the red emergency lighting is on. I think she is clearly holding some kind of personal comm device. So you can see, she's kind of holding it as she runs around the space. There is a like a news feed which is saying comms blackout, emergency situation, um, Express Corporation Consistency Committee control. Please do not be alarmed, as an alarm is blaring in the background. And I think two things happen. As the old adage goes, two things happen. I'm going to add a clock to the board, respecting the fact that you have succeeded in that action, which I think is gonna be, let's see here. Yeah, I thought we didn't have enough clocks, so I'm just rectifying that real quick. Where's this clock? So, first, I'm going to. Was that a great? That was a great, in fairness. So I am gonna set that to 3 sides, because respecting your success. I think this person's name. This is a brand new NPC. Her name is
Whale.
Her name is what?
Whale with a Q.
Whale with a Q. I see. I was losing the Q. So, whale. I was like, huh. Their name is Irene Quayle. They are, like I said, white hair pulled back, quite young. Seemingly some sort of laboratory coordinator. And I think you can see, people are doing anime hacking, which is some people, tapping on the keyboards and so on. But there are some people who are pulling around big printer cables, trying to wire in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everyone knows that a cable doesn't truly work unless it's several cables joined together and kind of braided to make a big printer cable and plugging things in. And what you also notice is I think there is a crackle on the line. And I think it's sort of midway through Irene talking, as she's talking you through, patching in that back door, a ship launches from the Express Corporation home satellite. And you see, off in the distance, a color palette swapped version of the Deity Express as another ship is launched. The animation.
Still saving on the budget where they can, right?
Yeah. Listen, some of us have time budgets as well, all right? And in addition to that, what we also see is another AWV launching from that ship. And we see, as I accidentally put it into the background instead of the foreground, and then I accidentally put it onto the map layer instead of the foreground. Good lord.
It's a fixture of the world.
It's in the foreground now, good lord. We see the traditional anime boss fight mech. It is a, we've been seeing throughout the season this being built up. It is kind of a cobbled together frame based on a few different Express Corporation prototypes. I think we get cutaways to Darling sort of gathering these pieces and this technology over the course of the season. It is a it's got the backwards kind of digitigrade legs. It has a single large one wing, which also emits like kind of beam light from it. It has a single mono eye head, much like the blood from the stone. And I think as this kind of starts to boost towards you specifically, Siege, at the front of the party, you see that there is a long cable which stretches out from the other ship to this mech. And I think a comm thing opens, a comm window opens, and you see from the bridge, the see it now, you see Darling Bitten say, "Took you long enough." And
Oh,
we'll go to commercials. So yeah, we're probably going to take a, what do we think, like 10-minute break here? How are
think
folks
10
doing?
I think 10's fine.
Like,
Yeah.
10 gang. So we'll see a 10-minute break. During that time, I'll probably be back in Toonami. We'll do a Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life review, and then we'll be back to the game. But keep those donations coming in. The arrival clock is now complete, and that was entirely due to your support. Thank you so much for giving me the chance to kill these people.
We
using
ticked
an
that
anime
once
and
ourselves, didn't we? Once.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's not true. Artie just ticked it twice.
3, so less than half.
Yes. Thank you,
Thanks,
stream.
Pat.
I appreciate you. And yeah, we'll feed back in 10 minutes at 22 minutes past the hour. That's kind of inelegant. Oh well. To the conclusion of Beam Saber Strike Don't Linger, episode 26. One way or another, we're all going home.
No.
You can't. No.
You're like, oh dear, we're back.
We're
Oh,
live.
Hi,
live.
welcome. We're back again. We're not back. Hello. Coming up next, it's the conclusion to Beam Saber, Strike, Don't Linger, episode 26. On the left-hand side, we have a special meme that our friends Artie has put together for us. It is, of course, a scene from Lilo and Stitch with Lilo going to bed. It is captured as Katarina saying, "We don't need to move slowly or dangerously. We can move smartly." And then a cutaway to Darling Bitten, the rival, saying, "Took you long enough," captioning a picture of Stitch emerging from a burning piece of spacecraft wreckage.
It's really impressive that the Toonami was pulling live fan reacts off the internet when they premiered this episode.
Frankly,
Yeah.
I think Toonami did do that, at least in like the 2012 era. I don't think they do now, or I don't think they did in 2001 or whatever the fuck. But
It's giving a real Space Ghost coast to coast energy.
ooh, now that I could definitely stream. We'll do that next time. Year 6, we're doing Space Ghost Coast to Coast, episode 26. One way or another, we're going home. So
There's a
we're
lot
back.
of guys on this picture, huh? Out in
There's
space.
a lot of guys on this picture all of a sudden.
A lot of buddies.
A lot of men. So last time before the commercial break, and we get the last few seconds of the previous half to save on the animation spend. We see Siege on the comms with Irene Quayle, a laboratory sub coordinator at the comms satellite. You see the comms connection distort for a moment. You see a fresh comms communication sort of portrait coming out on general comms. It is Darling Bitten, the squad's rival, the hunter to the hunted. And what we also see is this Deity Express looking ship. It's another Express Corporation ship. It's of a similar make, seem. And we see the camera sort of focuses on and sort of follows from this ship a long power cable, actually. And we can see to the back of the See It Now, which is Darling Bitten's prototype crudely cobbled together mech. We see there is a large power conduit plugged into the small of its back, which trails all the way through space to its support ship. And the reason why it is using so much power is it is currently projecting 3 hard light compositions of your own vehicles. We have the Blood 2 from the Stone, which is of course the squared Blood from the Stone. We also have the Bad New Day and the Unforeseen Consequences, which is the same, it's just underlined. Mechanically, the way that your rival works is that it is an 8-step clock, which I can see for some reason already has a chunk taken out of it. Let me fix that. It is an 8-step clock for the rival itself, and then there are 3 additional 4-step clocks representing each pilot's connection with that rival. In this scenario, that is 1 hard light projection each. So have fun with that.
So, Fee, I have an operations question for you.
Please.
As we advance the individual hard light construct clocks, is that going to have an effect? Is that going to also fill up the rival clock
No,
as well?
these are in addition.
Ah, I see. Phase
I mean,
2, boss fight.
Yeah, it's potentially phased. I think if you tried to attack the rival, you would be able to put work into that clock, but recognize that it would probably be opening you up to attack from the hard light construct.
Mm-hmm.
I have
think,
another question.
Please fire away.
What do we need to complete to get the Deity Express to complete our objective?
That is a great question. I think currently the home satellite seems to be locked down by the Deity Express Consistency Committee. I do not think it is enough to just get her to home base. I do not think it is enough to just get her sat at the table. I think you need to do something to chase off the rival as another similar candidate for the throne, and as someone who is currently sort of in charge of essentially a backup squad of very dangerous mechs.
So is it fair to say that our Deity Express clock and the rival clock are in direct contestation with each other?
The Deity Express clock is the current essential health bar of the Deity Express. So yes, I would say.
Oh, gotcha. Alrighty.
I'm actually going to get rid of the A rival clock now that it's completed. I just like the pun of you've got an arrival clock and also a set of arrival clocks. And that amused me more than it should have.
Uh-huh.
I'm very tickled.
We do also have to resolve something as well.
Oh, yes?
So we've been talking this entire time about that really cool ability that, as we fill up the rival clock, gives us the additional benefits. There is
Oh,
one
yeah, I'd
more
forgotten
line
about
to.
that.
There is
How's
one
that
more
going? Is
line
it
to
going
this
really well?
ability.
What's the remaining line there, Hawk?
So when the arrival clock fills, every pilot takes level 1 harm scared.
Dun, dun, dun.
Interesting. Probably fine. Wouldn't worry about it. Except, of course, by taking the level 1 harm afraid. Then you do have to worry about it.
I'm going to actively stress about this, and by that I mean I'm going to try and resist this.
Interesting. I do think this is something that you resist as a pilot. I do not think it is something that you resist as a vehicle for obvious reasons.
Agreed. I
The
do
unforeseen
believe that it is-
consequences is not scared.
So we're
Yes.
resisting this with Hawk's money.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Yes, a reminder that I am giving an $1 for every stress someone spends. So
I
spend your
see.
stress, damn it. Do it.
Adam, you can't always throw money at your problems. This is
Roll
one place
plus
when
bank
you
balance.
can't.
What's that Dungeon World move, which is like carouse, and you have to roll 1d2 plus any, like, 100 coins that you spend or something ridiculous? It's a mess.
Jeez Louise.
Jeez, Lewis.
Also, Austin, reminder that the arrival clock, all of the benefits still apply even after it's filled, just not to the hunter, correct?
Well, the thing
That's
is,
interesting.
when the hunter arrives, the arrival clock empties out again. So we have in fact lost all of the benefits.
Except for take improved position.
That's on
Correct,
things
but that
aside
doesn't
from the
apply
hunter,
to the
right?
hunter.
Doesn't apply against the hunter. Right. Okay. Okay, so if I am resisting this, it's probably resolve, right?
That makes sense to me.
Great.
I'd be curious
I
to see how you could resist fear by being extremely buff, but like I kind of understand that to an extent, I guess.
Yeah. Listen, sometimes if you're just an exceptionally large himbo,
If that's an argument you're open to, I do I resist fear with
that is
prowess.
look, that's an argument I would apply to a different character, not Strickland.
Speaking of different characters, no, I'm kidding. Let's work through
Anyway,
Strickland first.
I think I'm just rolling this straight up. I don't have anything to add to this, so bonus dice none. 3.
Nice. All right. Well, that's 3 stress taken, but no level 1 harm.
Yeah,
Which sounds useful to me.
I am also going to resist because the captain cannot be shown to be scared in the face of such obstacles.
This is a very valid point.
So 2 dice.
Chain of command makes sense to me. And that's only 2 stress suffered, but no level 1 harm. Anyone else resisting while we're here?
Yes, please.
Please, by all means. Again,
Yeah,
is this resolve, or are we trying to make the argument for?
I'm not going to try to make the argument. I will take my 2 stress.
You will take your 2 stress lumps. What about Siege? I'm curious about this.
I was thinking about that because part of me is like it's very characterful for him to be emotional about this. I didn't at first. I kind of chafed against scared because I liked the idea of more about feeling threatened and more about feeling like you're in the pressure cooker, right? I think that's a little more anxiety inducing, and that's for him as a character. So I'd be down to take that, but I also want to just give it a shot and see about resisting. Just to feel something. It'd be cool.
Okay.
Yeah. So that'll be 2D.
Sorry to interrupt, but may I make a suggestion?
Sure.
By all means.
I love them.
Since you kind of want Siege to actually feel threatened, but still don't actually want to have the harm, we could have Katarina resist on Siege's behalf as a protect action.
Oh, that's kind of sweet.
Oh, that is
That's
sweet.
really cool narratively.
Yeah.
I do
I'm-
like that. If
I'm
it's something you're comfortable with, Artie, we could do that.
I'm uber comfortable with that.
Okay, so as Darling appears, Katarina says, "Mr. Prem, block that communication." And
We do not need her shit talking in the group chat. Block that woman.
we've overcome worse before, everyone. We'll get through this as well. And I'll roll resolve again.
Nice.
0
Cool
stress.
as a cucumber.
Boop, 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 boop.
Hits the Discord mute button on someone.
Nice.
None of that, thank you.
Love
Excellent. Is that blocked just narratively? Is that blocked just for Siege, or is that across the entire squad?
It's across the entire squad, but I don't want to take away that narrative option. So I figure, Darling can hack her way back into the communications to threaten us some more.
Yeah.
If I may offer a suggestion, perhaps it's the Zeta Gundam thing, where even though long-range communications are disrupted, she could still like bop someone and be able to talk through the like mech-to-mech short-range
Mhm.
communication, perhaps.
Yeah.
Love that.
Which I always think is fun. All right. So the first thing that happens is I think Tilda and the group of the cherubs start to fall back to the Deity Express under heavy fire. I think what the probably like the brand new day. I think what does the brand new day's weapons look like? Does
It's
it have a traditional beam saber? Does it have arm cannons? Does it have some sort of mortar?
well, one of my quirks is something called the seven-branched sword, which is like the
Oh.
super cool like beam saber thing, but it's like special for this Gundam or whatever, you know. So I imagine it has this like whip sword vibe. So there is like it has these segments that are slightly separated by this energy coruscation, right? The beam antlers, God. But I imagine it's just sort of that whip chain sword situation, and it's connected by this energy beam, and the segments themselves are a cool shape. Maybe they're chevron shaped or something like that, or what have you. It's cool. So something like that. It's got a lot of beam weaponry in general. Lots of cool like club hull, laser light, pointer type of things. I'm sure it has missiles. It's probably got the chesticles missile bay type things. Very David Hasselhoff of him.
I don't think anyone's ever used that phraseology to describe a mech,
until today.
and I wish they hadn't. For the record, I think what happens is the cherubs start to fall back to the Deity Express. I think Tilda, the head of the squad, is doing suppressing fire. I think you get to watch the weapon of your own mech essentially curl around the tail engine of this cherub unit and yank it forward back into the fray. And I think you get, I think Tilda tries to say something through the comms, but you just get disruption. I think it is the comm channel is red tinted. You see her eyes widening, pupils dilated, and then the signal is broken. Something's being damaged, evidently.
Okay, cool. I'm down to go first if that's all right with everybody else.
Go for it.
Okay, cool. I'm thinking I want to carry, even though this ultimately, I think my ultimate objective here is to attack, but I think the tactic that I'm using is sort of spoken to by maneuver. And the idea is that I'm seeing this long cable attached from the mech to the ship, and I want to cut it.
This makes sense to me.
I want to Kessel run my way to that plug and unplug it, basically.
Yeah.
So
I think the interesting thing there is definitely You're going between the asteroids, between the blood duplicates, between the see it now itself to try and go at the cable. So I definitely think that's a maneuver.
Can
Exactly.
I help?
Yeah, that makes sense to me. How are you helping?
I would like to try to run interference. So like I would like to so I have one of my weapons that I can check off is a missile bay, basically. So a rack of
Mhm.
missiles or rockets. And so I would like to kind of just unleash a volley against all of the. It's kind of like it's more of a distraction. I don't, but I am also just trying to like get their attention. So I'm volleying against all of the hard light things and the see it now,
Mhm.
and just trying to get in their faces and be flashy and show myself as a big threat right now.
That makes
Does that
sense.
make sense?
I also think
Um,
Darling, as the person who originally hired you, has kind of a bit of a personal connection with you, so probably would rise to that bait.
And that's exactly what I'm going for. Now my question, now the thing that I'm trying to figure out here is
Hmm.
what am I using for this? Because
Define using. Are you doing a setup action or is this just an assist?
no, I mean sorry, I mean like what am I rolling? Like,
Well, if it's an assist, you don't roll.
oh, you're right. I just take stress, right?
Yes, you'd take 2 points of stress, and Siege would have 2 potential benefits.
Perfect. So I'm just gonna take 2 stress. And yeah, so basically what I'm doing is I'm like I see where I'm assuming that Siege didn't tell me this is what he was doing, correct?
I think you
You
just
just
get a
break from the pack, or
no. You get a cover me.
Yeah. And so I think that Strickland is an
Siege is
exasperated,
willing to let Strickland back him up. Interesting.
just like, wait, but okay, fine. And then just like flies forward, unleashes a volley of missiles, um, has his beam sabers ignited and is kind of just like looking to prepare a charge or attack.
Mhm.
So,
Sounds
floor's
good to
yours,
me.
Siege.
You got it.
Do whatever you're doing. Make it quick.
It's good to have something nice to say to that, but I don't have it. I don't have a line in front of me. Okay. So that smells like a maneuver. Doop, 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 doop. I am
Sounds
going
like
to.
maneuver spirit.
That's right. I'm going to declare my fine mobility suite.
That makes sense. Increased
I
effect, definitely.
increased effect. Yes. Collateral.
We do have
You're starting off risky limited because
You
you
got
are trying to pile through a number of mechs and an asteroid field to the point that I'm inclined towards 0, but I'm saying limited to begin.
Okay. And so like I was starting from no effect to now I'm at limited.
Uh, hmm. You know what? Yeah, I think no effect to start off with limited because you are trying to burst through basically the entire fracas, right? So yeah, you're now at limited.
Got it. And that's through declaring my fine mobility suite.
Yes.
All right. Sexy. Do you have a collateral for me?
Do I have a collateral for you? Yeah, I do. Some collateral damage occurs.
Oh, sexy. Love that.
Mm,
Okay. So I'm starting at 2 dice. With the setup action from or the assist from Strickland. I get 2
Risky,
options.
limited, 2 dice.
2 dice.
You have 2 options: additional dice, improved position, or improved effect.
I'm going to boost my effect to standard.
Mhm.
And I'm going to take an extra die as well. So I believe I'm rolling with 3 dice altogether.
That makes sense to me.
Does our vehicle weapon quality upgrade improve this at all?
Oh,
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
The thing that we're focusing on here is the movement. Actually, cutting a cable is not a hard thing to do. Depending on the cable, but you know what I mean.
If it-
Me
Yes,
furiously chewing through undersea electric cables. No, yeah, I don't think the tricky thing here is actually cutting that cable. I think it's getting there to be in position to do it. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, 100%.
The cable is as short as it can be, which means the mech is pretty much directly between you and the cable, and
Got it.
the ship in kind of series, right?
Yeah. So my full pool is 3 dice. Just
Yes.
confirming. Okay, great. Here we go.
Ooh,
That's
that's a 6. A risky and a standard effect. Okay, so 2 things happen. Well, 3 things technically happen, but 2 things happen in unison. You burst forward. You dip, you dive. You see the unforeseen consequences, the blood unforeseen consequences, lurch up forwards to try and grab your vehicle's foot. As you are darting past the hard-like doppelgangers, these blood vehicles, you catch a glimpse of that wounded cherub, and you see it be cut in half. You burst through the pack, through the asteroids. You get a one last cutaway of Tilda before, of course, the feed goes dead. You burst through the pack. You burst out of the asteroid belt. Darling is, of course, hanging back because why would she weigh in when she has 3 perfectly capable doppelgangers that her vehicle is currently controlling? You emerge back up behind her. Do you say anything before you cut through the cable?
Took you long enough.
Nice.
And your beam saber goes down. This seven. What was it called? Sorry, the 7 branched sword.
Yeah, I'm not declaring it, but it is definitely there.
It's definitely there. It's definitely in
I,
use.
you know, part of me not declaring it is that it's put together.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? It hasn't, you know, it hasn't been extended or anything like that. So it's fully together. It's just a regular, you know, broadsword. You know what I mean?
So, blade twirls, executioner's sword, cable is gone. I think, Darling, we get the cutaway to the interior of her cockpit. She Evangelions. On the directly above her view screen, there is now a 5-minute timer.
Oh.
It's an Evangelion reference, as all mecha anime are, whether released before or after Evangelion. Additionally, Strickland, you're providing or suppressing fire.
Yeah.
As you do so, I think, remind me again, what do those missile pods look like?
So they're like, instead of having like a big like missile rack on like mounted on the shoulders, there's like a big thing with building this mech was like how streamlined can we get this mech? So there's a lot of like miniature 2 missile pods like that like open up all over the back. And so the missiles aren't big, but they're they're powerful
Yeah.
and explosive, all that
It's like
stuff. And
mini
so
missile pods, and there's a bunch of them.
yeah, so it's not like 2 massive missiles. It's like there's like 50 little micro missiles that just go flying all over the battlefield, causing a bunch of explosions. There's like you see, the anime, like the flash. There's like the lines, and then the rolling wave of explosions as they connect.
Yes. So, as you do so, there is a shadow amidst the explosions, and then you see the blood 2 from the stone lurch forward, with kind of awful momentum. It's like an iceberg is bearing down on you, and I need you to take the level 2 harm. Missing forearm, as I think one of its large hands just tries to clasp you by the arm and kind of throw
Alright.
you away.
I am going to use.
By the way, I'm using one of my rival moves, which I lied about. I can use those at any time.
Gas.
I'm gonna use declare 2 of my vehicle load. I'm a medium mech, so I have 5 load total. On armor.
What do you think armor looks like? Blocking arm being crushed. Do you think it's just sturdier than the blood 2 from the stone expects?
Yeah, so again, I think that a big thing with this is that it's a I think it's a prototype mech. I think it works like a little bit differently than they expect it to. I don't know if it's a matter of like stronger material or composition, or maybe I just like it's a combination of me like maneuvering out of the way so that way my armor could better deflect the blow.
Interesting.
Like I don't know if it's like I don't think there's like an energy shield or anything like that. So I do think it's like a combination of the mech it doesn't know how my mech works, and also I can still maneuver a little bit out of the way to deflect that blow a little bit better.
This makes sense to me.
So
Neat.
that
Cool.
does armor completely negate damage, or is it just drop it down a level?
I'm thinking drop down a level at this point. I think
Yeah.
it is short circuit level 1 harm.
Right, and then because I can't
please.
Can
Or
I
level 1
resist
damage,
further?
I
And
should
if so, how would I do that? That's burning quirks to resist further, right?
Yes. It would be, you describe the vehicle skill that you're using, and it would be, I believe, 4 minus the number of like different skills you have in that. So,
I'm debating if it's worth it because I already do have a level 1 harm
Hmm.
or level 1 damage. I think it's worth it. You know, now or never, right?
Mhm.
Right.
So I am
One
going
way or
to
another.
yes, one way or another. So I'm going to burn the quirks, panoramic sensor array, and sharp eyes. So I think so yeah, I
Is
think
it
that
just you
basically
see
my
them coming,
mech
you're able
detected it
to...
coming and I
Mhm.
saw the angle and that's how I was able to resist it fully.
Yeah.
So
It's
I
not
think I
just...
basically like spun out of the way and like it just kind of bounced off of me and I was able to use its momentum almost like a judo throw to kind of like shove it away from me so it didn't actually damage.
Lovely. Love it. Great work. All right. What are we doing?
I'm not going to act yet, but I do want to foreshadow.
Mm-hmm.
Katarina says, Ms. Prell, begin charging the star's gaze.
Interesting. The
Uh,
gays, they're revolting. No, I'm kidding. Okay, please.
I've got something, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew where I didn't know what it was, but I knew where the blood 2 from the stone was from the gather information earlier, right?
I believe so, yes. I definitely think you'd probably take some kind of advantage on acting against it.
Yeah, I think I like I hit that asteroid and then just pinballed off seemingly at random into the asteroid field and shut down a bunch of systems to be harder to spot in there or to track in there to be
Interesting.
able to, but I, rather than being at random, was purposely angled to be able to catch the blood 2 from the stone. And I'd like to power back up, ideally right behind it, um and see if I can take it out. I think
Is
as I
this
power...
immediately after it assaults Strickland? How much of a sequence of events is that?
Yeah, I think it is, because I think the first thing I say is, Ronan, nice distraction. Uh, and then
Games are good, actually.
uh, the left arm, I raise up the left arm of blood from the stone, which like locks into a straight line, and a piston deploys from the back, because this is actually a just pile driver built into this when it was still a construction mech. And I'm declaring a fine heavy melee weapon that I would like to deploy into this hard light mech.
Do it. Perfect. You know, it's a light projection, but it still does have structural integrity, and if you smash it hard enough, it will come to pieces.
Yeah.
Uh,
I do think that when you say that, I think you see on the mech, you get the anime, just the like.
okay, so this is battle, I assume.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
What's my position here?
I still think this is risky. I think it is. You know, there is risk in terms of, yeah, it's 2 versus 1 essentially, but there is a straight line between this mech and Strickland, so I think that's risky. Position effect is standard. I think that seems fine. It's
Uh,
it's a mech that you know about, so if anything, let's go risky great because it is your mech. And
is
you're
that risky great with a fine heavy weapon and improved vehicle weapon quality?
interesting. Well, that definitely pushes it up to risky extreme, then, doesn't it?
Okay.
I can't give you any more effect. I don't think it's, you know,
That's
ridiculous effect or anything. But
You could trade some effect for controlled position.
that's a good point. I would give you controlled extreme. If you would like.
oh, okay. Then I will take controlled extreme.
I
That's
don't
our
think that would
second
be...
controlled extreme tonight or this morning.
Yeah, we're doing a lot. it's funny how when you do a game that is the end point of an anime, things kind of become extreme by themselves. It's useful.
I'd also like to push myself. I'd like to have spent analog controls here, one of my quirks. That's how I was able to line this up while mostly powered down, is I don't need
Interesting.
the electronics running in Blood from the Stone to do this.
Love it. Great. Cool.
Okay, so that's
What
going to be
up?
3d6 controlled extreme.
And still only a 3-4-5. We're not hitting it today. I don't. Maths is weird. I do think this is a success. I do think this is extreme effect, which I believe means 4 checks off a clock. So I do think this destroys the blood 2 from the stone 2. No, wait, blood 2 from the stone. What do you think this looks like?
Well, depending on what the consequence is, as long as the consequence isn't I actually hit Strickland, I think it's just the fist deploys forward as the head of this pile driver, as this piston extends out, and it's the like almost the light shatters into a bunch of different pieces that like rotate and fade out, with the fist stopping a mech scale inches away from the from Ronin's mech.
Love it. What I'm gonna say is for the consequence, we've still got 1 point of consequence here. I'm gonna say that it's just as you're spearing through it, with what is remaining of its structural integrity, it swings around and tries to smack your head in. So I think you get flaring sensors, or you get dented sensors, or you get flickering sensors. It's something. Is the head of the blood from the stone where the sensors are kept?
Yeah, probably.
So I think that's that. You can take the level 1 damage there, if you so choose.
Can I expend arm? Can I declare armor to
Yes.
block that? Okay, I will do
Use
so.
of
That
armor
puts
would totally get rid of that.
Okay, that puts me. We know that Blood from the Stone has tons and tons of armor. I think there's like that would have hit, but there's like a Gorget type piece that rises up to protect the or the head of the mech, and that puts me at 4 out of 6 load because shockingly Blood from the Stone is a heavy mech.
This makes sense to me. Plus any additional load that you can spend on movement hard points.
Right. Yes.
That's the blood 2 from the stone dealt with. Nice work. Good job there. Do I want to do any rival moves while we're here? No, I think I'm at peace for the moment. What are we doing?
Ronan, do you want to act while the star's gaze continues to charge?
Hawk?
Oh, say that one more time. You cut out a little bit. Sorry. Didn't realize you were
alright.
talking to me.
Do you want to act while the star's gaze continues to charge?
Yes, I do actually. I would love to use the destruction of this hard-like construction to directly challenge the See It Now. So, I think the thing that gives me the opening to act quickly is I have the playbook ability called Reflexes. When there's a question about who acts first, the answer is you. So I think that I can act on this opening to a point that allows me to hopefully get in past the other 2 hard-like constructs
Yeah.
and start directly assaulting the See It Now.
The shot is as Ironsides is. Thanks for the distraction. It's you already priming your engines and getting ready for this upcoming assault on the on the See It Now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as my rockets flare, and again I get that free. I guess am I rolling right now? Do you think to just get to See It Now, or do you think I could just roll the assault directly? Like, am I? It's either going to be maneuver or battle. Like,
I think it's more interesting to do the assault directly, right?
yeah. So I think that's what I'm going to do, and I think as I tear off through this opening, you just hear Strickland through the comms go, thanks for the distraction as I just fly in. I have my beam sabers out, and I think that I'm just again, hopefully, hopefully taking her by surprise, just making some quick slashes at the see it now. What is my starting position and effect with this?
Risky limited. I think this vehicle probably does count as a tier higher than you.
Yes, so risky limited. My weapons are all fine quality because of our ability. Does that bump that up
Risky
to
standard, then I would say.
risky standard? Let's see. And then I would I'm looking at how much. Yeah, so do actually have a question about an ability, and this might be for Austin. So, not to be trifled with, is that when I push myself just as a human, or does it work also when I'm in a mech?
Anytime you push yourself.
Okay. If I were to push myself, and then I'm trying to figure out the logistics. I'm trying not to be too metagamey as well, of just how do I get myself in the best position. You know, what I'm doing is risky, and it's a pretty standard move. I think I'm happy with risky standard as is. Because I think that fits the narrative. So let me go to
If a
maneuver,
physical feat
battle.
that verges on the superhuman leaps out at you, then by all means. But I don't think just fighting someone is necessarily.
I don't
superhuman.
think. Yeah, I don't think I'm using that right now. So I think I'm fine to just. I am actually. No, I'm holding those back. I'm just gonna go ahead and roll a straight up battle as a risky standard, and I think that's gonna be it. Crit!
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Nice.
Lovely, fantastic. Well, that is, man, that's probably okay. So we're starting off at risky standard. I think probably I'm gonna boost the level of the effect, right? Actually, up to you. You can put a check into either the rival clock or into home backdoor.
Oh.
This is an additional on top of your success. So
Right.
either way, you're getting 2 dots into Darling's clock.
Right.
Considering the amount of dice being thrown around, it's surprising that this is our first crit, I think.
Yeah, no, honestly, I do think I'm gonna put that extra point into home back door. I think that the big success here isn't so much that I've dealt a massive blow of damage here, but that I was able to directly engage her, and so it's giving everyone else the opening to get our VIP to the satellite. Like, I think I am actively fighting. We're going sword to sword, and I'm getting some blows in, but the real win is that we are open to keep moving forward.
I like that. Nice. I also believe. I think that means that like the asteroid clock can maybe be worked on as well. You now at least have a clear heading. Reaching the home satellite has an effect. You would be able to dock at least the Deity Express.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. And the fact is I am currently actively engaging Bitten and such that can't draw her attention anywhere. She has to focus on the threat in front of her.
Exactly. And I need you to take the level 2 harm stabbed. Level 2 damage, I should say.
Oh, rival moves, huh?
I can do them at any time.
That is true. I do think.
So it's the
Yeah,
sword comes
I'm not.
down, and of course she has a pair of twin beam sabers. One comes up at the same time, takes it in the chest compartment.
Yeah. Yeah,
Not
I think
necessarily like the cockpit, but you know, in there.
yeah, we're both like stabbing into each and causing massive damage to each
Yeah.
other. And as we trade blows, I think I'm just gonna take that. I'm stabbed. That makes sense. That's dramatic enough. Like, I think there's like literal just like pieces of mech going flying off of both of us right now as we. This is also very personal, so
Yes, it is roar of flame. You didn't quit. You're fired.
Yeah.
Sometimes the low-hanging fruit is it's just there. Sometimes you just gotta go for it.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
Just while we're between moves, because I know that was a bunch of moves that were back to back. Jack, if you're still in the chat, thank you so much. 25 smackaroos. My new favorite person alongside my close personal friend, Anonymous. Not the hacking collective. I'm a good girl. Maybe.
Yep.
Right, what are we doing now?
I think it's
anyone else can step in at this point.
Yep, I got a plan.
I love it when a plan comes together.
So the camera is a close up on Katarina's face, and she looks determined, and she takes one hand and pulls the brim down of her captain's hat more firmly so that the camera can see the golden sunrise symbol on the black hat. And she says, "Miss Prill, target the asteroid field and clear a path for us through to home. Fire the star's gaze." And Prell says, "Aye, aye, ma'am." And she's Mr. Prem's sister, formerly identical twin, also brown skin, long dark brown braid, preppy in appearance, very cheerful, the opposite of her brother. Only thing they agree on is that she finds it funny that he calls them formerly identical twins. And so I am going to roll bombard with my
makes sense.
fine heavy cannon,
Excellent.
which is the Star's Gaze, which the cannon is built along the entire length of the ship, but it's within the body of the ship, so only a small bit of the barrel peeks out as the other end connects directly to the ship's core.
Love it. Do we maybe get? I don't think this actually impacts the ship's performance, but do we maybe see like the engines flicker for a moment, like the lights kind of go down a little bit into firing mode, and then the is it just a? I don't know why my immediate thought is the subspace cannon from Super Smash Bros. Brawl, but it's always the subspace cannon from Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Do we just see the huge beam of light?
Yeah, it's a massive golden yellow beam that shoots forth from the nose of the sunset's glare and just sort of carves a path through the asteroid field, assuming I succeed.
Love it. So starting off, I think this is I think this is risky standard. I think it's asteroids, right? It maybe requires some refined positioning to actually take out a bunch of them. But yeah, you have
So
you have the deck, please.
I've got a fine heavy cannon. Does that
Risky
bump
grade.
it up to? Yep. And then we've also got the squad upgrade for improved quality of weapons.
Interesting. Does that stack with fine weapon?
If we want to get into the mechanics of it, yes, because it makes your weapons count as a higher tier rather than whereas a fine
No,
just
no, I get
improves
it. These are
effect.
tier one asteroids. Actually, I didn't say so, but they are the T1. So all right, risky, great then.
And then
Would you
do I
like
get
a collateral?
no.
Would you
Alright.
like help?
Sure.
I
What do we
think
think help looks like here in terms of scale? Because this is a large scale ship tearing through a asteroid field. How does the
Oh.
mech help with
this is my other tactical genius help. So this is just we're flashing back to how we prepared for this. Which is I think we get a scene of we did see in the little bit of the last episode we saw Plateau working on his mech. I think we get that and it pulls out to Plateau and Katarina are both there. And I think Plateau says, "You remember that time the debris field around orbital platform Q4, when we were up against that that armored cavalry regiment?"
Of course. What do you have in mind?
Well, we were able to get your to use some of the other uh, assets in the area to route your sensors through in order to give you a better view of what was going on. Now, we did that on the fly then and burned out 3 hold on, you have a name for this, Fi.
I do have names for things.
And burnt out 3 Tanukis in the process. But I'm thinking if we set it up in advance, maybe the load won't be so hard.
Big grin from Katarina.
Cool. So take 2 there. I think I will mark that. That's my second hold. I'm out of tactical genius.
Yes.
And just for the sake of the 2 connections, we're getting that from R. For Captain Raven Isle. She's never let me down before and isn't about to start now. And after everything she's been through, her smile has to be an act.
Whoa.
My 2 beliefs with Ironsides are I've known him for a long time. He's got my back, and he's more tired than I am. He needs to retire from the front line.
Does anyone not have a belief about Ironside finally fucking retiring? This old
Even
man needs a
Ironside-
comfortable bed.
Even Ironsides has a belief about Ironsides retiring.
Okay, so that's 2 benefits, right?
Yep. So risky
Okay.
extreme plus 2 benefits.
All right, well, I guess I'll take controlled extreme with an extra die. And I'm also going to push myself. I'm going to spend my quirk Weapon of War. The Sunset's
that
Glare
makes
is
sense.
built for this. Controlled extreme, 4 dice.
Let's go.
Oh my god!
Holy, that could have
I
been
was
bad.
Oh,
so
Oh my
scary.
god.
Close call, but I got that 6.
Wowee.
Ooh, hachi machi.
Oh my god!
That is a close one. Good lord. Okay, so the asteroid field is cleared. Or to a functional extent, right? I think it kind of as an afterthought, the battle between the fucking New Frontier and the Home Guard immediately recommences because the cover has just gone.
Yeah.
Or like to any meaningful degree, right? I think we get the shot of like I'm imagining the front of the Sunset's Glare slowly like panning and just this beam being dragged across the landscape and obliterating these asteroids. And really clearing the board. I'm gonna tidy up some other mechs which have been destroyed as well.
Hey, Fiend, remember the seismic grenades from Attack of the Clones?
Yes, exactly.
Austin doesn't sound a little bit like that.
Yeah, that's a good sound effect for the cannon firing. The boom.
That sounds right to me. The Deity Express is now able to approach the home satellite. I think it is taking some minor fire, I believe, from the other express type ship. But I think Bitten is more focused on you guys for the moment, at least.
Right.
I think you kind of have an option at this point. The plan is essentially that Twice needs to essentially get to the boardroom and call base.
Mhm.
However, that puts her in a space satellite which is entirely dominated by Consistency Committee forces. And they are still backing their candidate for the moment. What do you do? And just in terms of neatness, let me move this fella.
I have an idea.
Say more.
I could lead a boarding action while y'all handle the mechs out here and defend Deity Express in the ship. if that's interesting to people.
I do like
I
that.
have other ideas as well, so
That's fun.
That sounds cool.
Into it. Oh,
I
Fee,
do like that as a notion.
could you move the see it now down just a little bit so it's a little more legible against the
Yeah, I'm trying to. Sorry.
awesome. Looks so cool. I want to see it.
It is fun making custom mechs. I kind of got a little hooked on this, so you'll want a mecha commission. You know where to find me. Cool. All right. So the boarding action is a very cool idea. Entirely up to you guys.
well, I just did something. Why doesn't someone else go?
That's a good attitude, actually. Thank you, Austin. Apologies, I had not kept track of action in that way.
Maybe we just get Katarina say mix a scrow. Full ahead to dock with the station. It's time to take it back.
Is it maybe while you're putting on like some sort of hard suit designed for like person-to-person combat or something?
I think she gets
Oh.
up to head to the armory to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe we get
She just-
cutaways in
we
between
see-
the next actions or something.
We see her locking and loading a shotgun. Just.
Yes.
She's got something better than that, which I've got a plan for.
Oh hell
It's
yeah!
two shotguns taped together.
Have we seen Artie? Have you done a thing since you've cut the line?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so I think you should. We can volley to you next.
It's
Oh, that's a good
time.
one.
It's time for combat.
Okay. Well, all right. All right then. Glad you're having fun there, sport.
Dark
Oh,
Siege
you-
emerges.
That's right.
I think, for the record, you did get Irene piping into you in your comms and saying, I managed to get the back door open. I can see your, the incoming ship is trying to dock. Hope
yeah,
that helps.
just let it do its thing. Thank you so much for your help.
You too, I guess. Please don't let us die. No, she doesn't say that.
Okay, so I think I'm going to engage with the see it now directly. I think I'm going. This smells like battle to me.
Smells like team battle.
I want to declare more things because I like toys. Toys are fun.
Again, hello, welcome. Yes, I'm with you. I get this. Sorry, I'm just rearranging tokens a little bit so that things are like accurate to an extent.
Of course.
Oh, well.
And I think this is me taking a page out of Ronan's book. I'm going to declare one of my quirks for this, the drone nexus, which,
Ooh.
if you're familiar with funnels in Gundam, across the entire franchise, how it works, these small deployable drones that fire lasers at things. And also, I guess the Nexus weapon in Lancer. It's also sort of a vibe there too. Sort of a mix of that. It's this small drone swarm with little lasers on it, and I want to sort of use that as a harrying, distracting thing to sort of beset Darling on all sides as I come in with a melee attack of my own. So I'm declaring that quirk to supplement my own close quarters combat.
Do it.
Okay, so I'm going to declare that, and I'm going to roll battle. What's my position in effect?
Risky limited initially. Probably increase effect, so up to risky standard, including the fine vehicle weapons. I would.
Okay. So just to get this extra die out of the way, do you have a collateral for me?
Do I have a collateral for you? What is the collateral I want to offer you? You know, it's interesting because, you know, mainly the things that are threatening you right now are also sort of parts of their rival. We'll say a check off the Deity Express clock, as the firing intensifies from the other deity ship.
You got it. So right now I'm rolling with 2 dice.
Are you taking that collateral?
I am.
Oh, cool.
So now I am at 2 dice. Let's see. What do I want to do?
Can you take a level 2 damage, please?
Oh, of course. It'd be my pleasure.
I think
Thank
as
you for
you're
having to learn.
maneuvering amongst the bits and so on, getting things coordinated, I think out of the cloud of bits, the see it now does spring forward and just what do we think in terms of level 2 harms? I'm thinking like impaled shoulder or something like that.
Sure, yeah.
Basically, in terms of the shot, it is her drawing her weapon out of Strickland, leaping up and forward, and enmeshing it into the shoulder of the brand new day.
Of course. Love that.
Skewered.
Skewered is cool.
Skewered is a good one.
Love that for us. Still at risky limited?
Still at risky limited, but if you're not resisting that damage, you do take -1d.
Ah, I should resist that, shouldn't I? Yes.
You can if you'd like.
Yeah. Can I do the action first and then resist, or is this happening simultaneously? I should just do both simultaneously.
I think it had happened prior to the action, so I think
Aha.
it would be rival move, any potential resist action.
Okay, so let's
At
do
any time.
let's do it. Okay, he's
Anytime,
almost-
baby.
I am in my vehicle, so
You
this
are.
sounds like I need to
You'd be spending quirks there.
spend
Boy,
quirks, yeah. So it's 4 minus the number of quirks that I've.
Yep, as Verdine in the chat says, armor! Exclamation mark.
Yes, that thing. Yes, I want to do that. I'm gonna declare some armor. I guess I get 4 uses of armor? Question mark.
No, it's 2 points of load to use 1 armor.
1. Got it. Let's do that. 1 and 2. Declare armor. No harm. No, sorry, no damage for me.
1 point of damage. I think it is dented shoulder or buckled shoulder or something instead.
I like buckled. Buckled is cool.
There you are.
Buckled shoulder. Okay, cool.
The white, pristine kind of shell of the brand new day is momentarily scorched as a beam saber licks over it. I think hers are unusually kind of. She is now, she no longer has that regular uptick of power from the other express ship. So I think it is a little bit more erratic.
It's giving some Kylo Ren lightsaber.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Risky. Lumitude. Could I
-1 effect because of your level 1 damage.
Right. So
risky 0 to start off with, improved quality of weapons up to risky limited again, and then carpe diem.
got it.
Seize the carp.
Cool. Sure. Okay. And my deploying of a quirk isn't going to.
Well, that would be pushing yourself, wouldn't it? So I believe you could expend that on increased effect or an extra dice.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll do that for an extra die. That'd be awesome. So I'm rolling with 2 dice. No, actually, 3. It'd be 3 now. Yeah, 3 die.
Oh, where is the additional one coming from?
It's the one from battle, and then your collateral.
Ah, it was the collateral. Okay, yes, with you now.
And now the quirk.
Yep.
Yeah?
Makes sense to me.
Awesome. We love math.
We love math. It brings out the numbies. That's a 5. Okay, cool. So, interesting. So, what does this shot look like? What are you actually doing? Is it the cloud of bits of funnels and then
cloud of bits that are going pew pew pew, and then from that I'm going to then go in with my sword.
And is this your main character sword?
Main character sword.
Interesting. Okay, so you lunge forward. The sword goes in. I think you do. It's limited effect. Is it limited effect still? Yeah, that's right. It's limited effect. I'm gonna make a notch out of Darling's dice, I think, which makes sense, or Darling's clock even. I think. Where are you aiming for?
Her sword arm.
Neat. Sword armor goes. The wrist down to the. She is wielding 2 swords, but her right arm is gone at the wrist. I think as you do so, you hear a very human-sounding scream. I think she does give a shout of kind of frustration and pain and I think the hand goes, the wrist goes, and I think there's a moment where she releases her beam saber in the other hand and is going to attempt to crush the hilt of your sword. She is trying to junk your gear as the consequence.
Oh, I see. I don't like that.
It's the last episode of an anime. You have to do the thing where the Gundam has to get its head chopped off and its arm blown off, and
Yeah.
Can I interfere to take the blow for Siege? I don't have an ability for it, just narratively.
Yeah, I think you could protect.
But before
Again,
you,
going off my reflexes,
before,
I see Siege
Okay.
slice off her hand. I
Yeah.
see she's going to retaliate, and so I act first. And I think I just fly my mech in front of Siege. So what is that to do? Does that just take stress? Do I roll? Like, how does that work?
I believe it's just resisting, but for the other person, right? So I believe you'd be spending quirks to try and resist.
Okay, so that'd be 2 quirks, correct?
Yeah, which would be the concern. Do you have 2
Yeah.
quirks instead?
I do, yeah. When I remind me what happens when you spend all your quirks again.
we're getting into
you-
dire action territory.
Yeah, you can dire action, or you can take a point of breakdown. And I think your vehicle would have to limp back to the Sunset's Glare for the scene, or join the ground assault, which could be interesting.
Or I can't just take the damage and just have a harm, can I?
No, there is a move for that for the ace.
Okay.
Damn the meat stick, no.
Yeah, I don't think
Adam, if you mean can you just take the damage and not resist it? Yes, you could.
Oh yeah, that you could certainly do.
that's what I meant. Like,
Right, I see. Sorry, I thought you meant that
yeah,
take
no,
it as harm instead.
yeah, I think that I'm like I want to take the harm or take the damage myself. And so I think I fling my mech I think what happens is I'm just moving on instinct and I move fast and I think I'm literally I body check Brand New Day out of the way. And so there's a loud like crunching sound as my mech collides with theirs, but then I take the blow myself. So what does that damage look like? What's happening to me here then?
Interesting. No longer a sword to crush. I think she was lunging forward with the hand. I think she had deliberately let go of her blade. So you are taking the level 2 damage, cockpit breach.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nasty.
Get your helmet on, son.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think I literally from inside the cockpit, I just see like the fingers of the mech just like right over my head, and then pulling out with a loud crunch.
There is a, number 1 cockpit camera, which is essentially the outer hatch, and that goes dead. And I think, it's not, there aren't finger holes in your cockpit, right? But the seal is no longer intact. I think it's not immediate explosive decompression, but I think you need to be piling into a hard suit now.
Yeah.
And piloting in a hard suit is harder than, being able to just be in your it's impacting your reflexes, it's impacting the amount of like feel you have of the controls. But
I think there's like there's like red flashing lights inside the cockpit or so on. An emergency readout saying put on like Evo suit immediately.
Yes.
And so I think that just to themselves, I think Strickler's just like, great, this is get, and like puts on everything that he needs to, but Brand New Day is kind of sent hurtling sideways out of the way.
Had I already put the work into Darling's clock? I don't remember.
You put the 1 notch in, yeah.
You put the 1 notch, yeah.
You know what? Austin has actually reminded me in chat. I believe that should be 2 checks, because I had forgot about the increased quality of your weapons.
Cool.
Right, cool. How are we looking? So we've got a ground assault prepping up. We've got the unforeseen consequences is seeing some consequences. I don't feel like we've seen from Plateau in a while. What's Plateau up to?
Well, I think the two youngsters are handling are handling our anime villain. So I want to keep these two hard light. I want to keep their doppelgangers away from them so that they're able to engage safe. They're only dealing with an ace pilot in a experimental custom mech, not also being attacked from behind. Um, and I think that looks like uh using the piston action of the maneuvering myself around. I'll declare my my mobility suite with my 2 free hard points for that. Um and using the pile driver arm here to like launch asteroids. Oh no, the asteroid field has been cleared out
The
mostly.
asteroid field's been cleared. It's just
Okay.
gravel.
Then I think I just want to like, where are they relative to me?
That's a good question. I think they're kind of swarming around. I think they're part of the problem that the youngsters are having to deal with, right? I think they're probably, one of them is probably peppering fire over the. If I move them slightly, the bad foreseen consequences is peppering fire over the shields of the Sunset's Glare, and I think the bad New Day has lunged forward to try and make contact with you. Is en route towards you.
Okay, then I'll deal with the New Day first. I trust that the captain can handle the ship for the time being. And I think I just want to um I want to hurtle forward and grab it because it's still, is that the one that's connected by a tether?
No, none of them are now
Oh.
connected by tether. The See It Now was connected by a long cable to the other Deity Express ship.
Okay, the See It Now was. Okay, I
It costs
want
a lot of power to be running 3 separate hard-light vehicles, including all AI, piloting.
right.
Which is definitely based on her interactions with you guys throughout the series. Like, I definitely think we see emulation of, earlier footage, but it's been red tinted and shit like that. We're reusing animation cells here.
Then I think there's what it is I think I'm going to just rocket in to engage the the one that's not shooting at the Sunset's Glare for the time being. Yeah, the bad New Day. Thank you. And this is a sequence. I think this is intercut. This isn't deploying the pile driver. The new bad New Day is too quick for something like that. I think this is almost looks like a shadow boxing type thing. I think this is intercut with shots of like Siege and Plateau doing like physical training to get, but like in mech and out of mech. And it's a it's the we'll see how the roll goes here, but I think this is just Plateau sort of is the older, slower, but like more knowledgeable boxer taking on like the young and quick, but not as not as seasoned. And so if this works well, it's the clinic of it's putting on a clinic, and if not, it's, well, we'll see.
Going to the clinic, yes.
Yeah.
Interesting. I really like that, actually. I'm going to say risky standard to start off with.
Okay.
But I do think, I mean, vehicle weapons immediately brings that up to risky great. So
Okay.
that seems accurate to me.
And then I think, can I spend legacy components here to push myself for another die? I think this is, this is a weird hard light AI cutting edge experimental thing. The bugs have not all been worked out yet on these. I am in a decades-old mech using components that have been used and reused and reused in reliable home guard designs for years.
Yeah.
I know that everything I'm going to do is going to mechanically work.
Yes. I've always heard tell that a pickup truck has the same suspension as like a horse and cart. And I don't know if that's actually true, but I'm amused by the notion.
So this is risky, great with 1 bonus die.
I believe so. Any temptation towards a collateral?
What would that collateral die be?
No idea. It's junking your pile driver.
Uh, sure. Is anyone does anyone have a line on how they could help me here? Because I would love to get this up to extreme so that we can just knock this out of the fight in 1 roll.
You could roll a crit.
Sure. The sunset's glare is heading to the ship anyway, so it just flies
fair.
right through the formation of the doppelgangers to disrupt them.
Nice. I'll take that as as a bonus die and an improved effect. So that's going to make this risky extreme and 2 bonus die for battle.
Nice, nice.
No 6, but there's a 5.
There's a 5 at least. Okay, so we're putting in that work. It's an extreme effect, so I think that is enough to. No, it would be. What are you talking about? No, I see. It's great is higher than I got distracted. So I think that does clear the clock. I think it is not without cost. I think you are using the pile driver. I think that's cleared out. Like I think it's basically just this thing bursts while the pile driver is enmeshed in it, and something is jammed, something is kind of leaking coolant. I think it's a little bit of a mess, But
Yeah.
the bad new day, we get the cutaway of you like shadow boxing and boxing with Siege. And then as the final strike comes in, it switches to the actual mech, and you get to watch the mech crumple before your eyes. Come to pieces. Mech fighting is normal and good. Everyone should do it. And meanwhile, a collateral, a consequence.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Thing is, if I just give you damage, you'll resist it, or use armor.
If
you
I
can only
use armor
so
again,
many
I'm out of
times.
load.
Oh boy, that was a lot.
Sorry.
It's fine. That was just I think it's going to try and give you the level 2 damage collapsed booster. I think it is, you do the like kind of underarm strike, kind of pile up into it, and as your back and your shoulder is exposed, I think the branched sword kind of analog spears down into your back as you try to.
Cool. Would that be an expertise resist?
I would say so, yes.
Then I would like to resist that with the quirk of excessive armor plating, not to be confused with the load of armor.
Ironic. Go for it. Perfect. Do you only need 1 piece of one quirk to resist? How many premise or expertises do you have?
I have battle, destroy, and maneuver.
Oh well, there we go then. Yeah. Okay, that makes perfect sense. I think it's we still get the shot. The blade still grazes across the back and leaves this long streak of burnt metal.
Yes.
And I don't think it's not doing damage. I think it's just not going deep enough. Because the hard light construct is coming to pieces as it's doing this. And the bad new day is destroyed. It is now a good new day. Ah, shit, we should have saved that for that could have been the end line. God damn. Right, okay, so I still have 4 rival moves on my clock, so I'm tempted to get some of those work done. Alright. So, what we currently have is we have the brand new day, and we currently have the unforeseen consequences staring down the see it now. We still have the unforeseen consequences open bracket bad, which is the hard like construct. We still have 4 checks in one clock and 4 checks in the other clock.
I got a plan.
Cool. In the meantime, the unforeseen consequences. Can you take the level 2 damage? Like speared in the knee, like collapsed knee, like crumpled knee. She is basically, you lunged, you tried to block her. She is furious, so she is trying to basically remove your mobility, which isn't necessary. Mechs don't need legs. Mechs need
Mechs
legs.
don't need legs. It's true.
Look like you could have
So
made them look like anything.
Can I jump in and take the hit for him instead?
I wouldn't. I don't think. I think if you tried, I would try to stop you.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Is that the look? Is it you lunge forward to try and mirror the same behavior and he swipes you back?
Yeah. I mean, no matter what I'm happening, I'm going to be in a critical situation. I'm either going to be taking a level 3 harm because I already have 2 level 2s,
Oh, shit.
or I'm going to spend my last 2 quirks and wind up in a dire situation, and then I'll have 2 level 2s and 2 level 1s.
Just as an extra note,
Yeah.
we've got a message in chat from a young go-getter named Austin Ramsay. Name doesn't really ring a bell, but they've donated to give each pilot an extra dice. So that is 3 additional dice. Keep that in mind.
Thank
Please make
you.
a note from that.
Thank you, stranger.
Thank you, Austin
Thank you,
in the chat.
stranger. Whoever you are and wherever
Yeah.
you are.
What a wonderful person.
Yeah, so I think okay, so I guess is there really a functional difference between taking a level 3 harm and using my last 2 quirks?
In a longer game, I would say yes. In terms of you'll
But in
break
terms of
down
this
your.
game,
Well, exactly. A level 3 harm would not take you entirely out of the action. You would be in dire actions if you'd broken down.
yeah. Okay, in that case, I will. Yeah,
Or
I think
you're
I'll
in the
just
midst
take
of
a
breaking
level
down.
3, and I think that it's just going to be like demolished or shredded or ruptured or something along those lines.
I like shredded. I like the idea that it is basically her. She is Azul airing out. She is Kylo running out, and you are just getting more and more.
Torn to pieces.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like that. Yeah,
You
no, I think
you can see more and more space in your cockpit. The
yes.
hatch is now crumpled inward.
Yeah.
There are definitely like well, you can no longer hear the alarms on the plus side because you are
Yeah.
no longer in Atmo. So
Yeah.
and I definitely think part of the issue with piloting at the moment is you are being buffeted around by the equalizing pressure and shit like that. So yeah,
yeah,
it's
no, I think
unpleasant to be in here right now.
yeah, no, I think I go on the comms to the squad and I'm just like Siege, listen, you're a good kid. You've proven that already. Go save the day. Plateau. It's been an honor. Captain, permission to initiate self-destruct sequence.
Permission denied, damn it.
Well, I was never good at listening to orders anyway, and starts pressing the buttons to start activating the self-destruct sequence. I think the actual move I'm making is I'm gonna try to grapple onto her and basically keep her restrained as I explode.
Do you have the load for a grapnel anchor tool?
I do.
See, that was what they were saying in chat, and I was like, "Yeah, screw
Yeah,
it. You know what? This is sick. Do it."
Yeah, because I was messaging Fee about this. So yeah, I do have the load for it. So I think what it is I have these tethers that normally would allow me to like anchor to a ship and stabilize for other things, but I think I fire off these tethers and they latch into or wrap around what's the next name? Bitten, whatever.
The see it now.
See you now, yeah.
I think we get a cut into her cockpit, and she is looking, her usual neat hair is pulled out. She has her glasses slipping down her nose, and her, pupils are dilated. Her teeth are gritted.
What should I do here? Should I do what would you like from me here, Fee?
I mean, the immediate assumption is a destroy roll. There's that. I feel like it's probably. Are you getting out? Do you get out?
I'm not getting out. I'm making sure this is done.
Then the clock is cleared. Narrate how it happened.
Oh, wait, what? Oh, then it just
if you're killing yourself, then I'm going to allow it. Go for it.
Okay, yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, that's the plan. I think it is, and I think I'm like I think between like the damage I've done to her, I think we can see each other. Like the tether like punched a hole like maybe through the mech or whatever. We can see each other in real time. I'm just like, and then I stare directly into her eyes, and I just go, "How's this for quitting?" And then I blow up.
And we get the classic, Strickland, no thing,
Yep. You get, your line art is wiped out. You get whited out. The brand new day is flung further back again, having already tried to protect the unforeseen consequences once. And we see the perfectly circular explosion. We see both vehicles give way. We do get the cutaway of, I think, Bitten's hand like rising up before her face, and then they erupt into light. Do we see anything of Strickland?
I think we just see Strickland smile, at peace with his decision, and then it just like goes to white, as like it like slowly like fades to light as like the blast encompasses him.
Neat.
No, Siege is weeping.
I think this gets a he fucking did it from Plateau.
It's not that still only counts as one, but
the camera cuts to Katerina as she's in the like armory putting on the gear, and it's like basically the first time in the entire show that she's not smiling, and she lowers the helmet of the armor of the boarding armor over her head to hide the single tear going down her cheek. And she puts her captain's cap back on top of the helmet, shrugs into her charcoal gray with gold button overcoat that she wears over the armor, stands up straight, and it's revealed that the boarding armor is like black and gold, except for the sort of like crown of the helmet and the faceplate, which are painted white like a skull. And they have these big round dark eyes. And it pans back a bit, and the rest of, I'm declaring Alpha Team, her fire squad of toughs, and they're also in similar armor but without the coat and hat, and they've all got various weapons. She's just got a odd looking pistol in hand, and she says, "Let's not waste this chance, folks," as they storm into the home to rout out the consistency committee's goons.
So, I think we're done with roles for the moment. I think in front of the brand new day, we see the remaining unforeseen consequences. The unforeseen consequence is bad. I think it looms over you for a moment, and then just begins to dissipate, like it's falling apart into voxels. You know what I mean? It is collapsing as the last of the power that was fueling it spills away. I think we see Alpha Team and Katarina leading them. I think we see Twice Gold and the squad, the Cherub troopers from the Deity Express, what little of them there are left, pouring into the home satellite. Inside the home satellite, it feels like a mall. It feels like a mall after dark. You know what I mean? Some of the shops are closed up. It's big escalators going up the length of this huge space, ridiculously tall space, not terribly wide, but tall. And it's pushing up floor by floor. I think you do see goons. You do see, you have to liberate some people out of labs. We see, Irene gets, pulled out of somewhere and like wrapped in a disaster blanket. Those foil blankets that they get wrapped in. And finally, sort of pushing up row by row. I think you do have to end up citizen arresting some people, perhaps. Unclear if that would actually work, but you try it. And we do eventually reach the boardroom, which was last seen in episode 15 or what have you, where the entire board was killed. We see Twice sort of walking up the length of the table, sitting down in the CEO's seat, and I think she holds aloft. It's essentially like a USB key, isn't it? It's like a zip drive we'd spoken about. And it is, we get sharp cutaway to the first scene with Strickland joining the player squad. And what did Strickland say when he first they first handed in the zip drive, the executor of the will, the piece that is needed for Twice to ascend to the position? What did they say?
When who handed it to me?
When you handed it to Twice.
Oh, when I had it twice, I just went, "Oh, this is yours. You're gonna do more with it than anyone else I know." And I'll be honest, if this doesn't buy me safe passage, you might as well just put a bullet in me.
We'll get you home safe. Thank you. Bows her head.
Oh, yeah.
So, that was not the last episode of Beam Saber Strike Don't Linger. There was an OVA and Move Forward, which is regarded as not being terribly canonical because characters who died come back and are present with no explanation. It is several months later. The Deity Express and the Sunset's Glare return to the Earth Sphere for it's essentially like a token guard duty. You don't believe anyone would dare interfere with the Deity Express's trip at this point, but it is customary to appoint a guard detail. We see in Citadel, New York, the capital city of the American continent. We see these two ships landing. We see on the down ramp from the Deity Express, we see Twice Gold, who looks a little bit more like her usual self. They're wearing like a nice suit, sharp shoulders. Kind of a Blade Runner suit is what I'm thinking of. We see Lieutenant August Germany, who is wearing his customary. This one is a Fozzie Bear t-shirt. And his military jacket, and we see Tilda, who looks none the worse for wear, smile brimming, continuing to eat something. I think she's got potato chips this time. And the remainder of the, some suits from the Deity, from the Express Corporation. And basically, they're there to, like, it's like a, essentially giving honor parade or something like that. It's a tribute parade. So there is, as there always is in anime, confetti billowing through the air all around the, in all of the skyboxes in this scene, right? What's the shot we get of the squad as the Sunset's Glare lands, coming off the ramp?
Katarina sort of lets out a long breath. She says, "Good work, everyone. We've made it. Shut down the ship. Prepare to disembark."
Long shot of different corridors within the Sunset's Glare going to, like, not emergency lighting, but you know what I mean, the lights are going down. We get, shots of the different pilots' bunks. We get the hangars with the AWVs standing in it. Anyone else coming down the ramp? Who's next?
Me, I think. This is a really interesting position for Siege to be in because I hadn't thought about it till now, but in the very first episode, we're introduced to Siege. It's in the wake of he's on like a field trip, right? And so he comes in on a shuttle, and that shuttle crashes. And so he sort of comes to in the wake of that wreckage in Citadel, New York. And so here now, it's an interesting thing to have him here, undamaged, unmolested, on all that stuff. Everything's fine, you know. So him actually stepping foot onto the streets of Citadel, New York, is, you know, into a bright city with no fire and no mech warfare or anything like that. It's a very stark contrast to how his story even starts. You know, it's a brand new day for him. Wink. So yeah, I think for him it's like with maybe, I don't know, like a big bag of potato chips or something, or like a big gulp or whatever, you know. He's just like stretch, yawn. Oh man, I've been sitting on a ship all day. I'd love to actually go and stretch my legs, kind of a thing.
And Plateau.
Plateau does not come off the ship. I think we hear Plateau before we see him. Of just Captain, it's good to see you, and we get a reverse shot to Plateau in like loose linen pants, a like Hawaiian shirt halfway unbuttoned down his torso.
Yeah.
This is the exact outfit he was wearing in the beach episode a while back. Has somehow has like a tiki drink in his hand as he's walking up in like leather sandals. So it's Captain, good to see you. Glad you made it. You look good, kid.
I'm glad to see that retirement's treating you well, old man.
You should try it sometime.
I'm too young.
He says, lying. No. Strickland.
Yeah, I think from the ramp of the ship, I think that I think with the camera had cut to Siege, and then we see this like cheeseburger wrapper balled up, just like kind of bounce off his head coming from the ramp. And out comes Strickland with like a stern look on their face. You can tell it's a little bit faked. They're just doing it for the effect. But they go, and I think like again for the OVA, I think like Strickland being just like alive and well was not what fans were expecting, and so this was like a wait. Like this is when they realized, wait, this is probably not canon.
Yeah.
And Strickland just goes marching off and just goes, "Well, don't start the party without me." Hey, old man, you've gotten a lot older since I've seen you. Kind of nodding to to nodding to Plateau, and kind of doing this like kind of half smirk, half grin.
Any response from Plateau there?
Well, not all of us can be not all of us can get away with escaping the consequences of of our actions.
I think from Siege, it's like hey, just because you're a comrade doesn't mean I can't kick your butt.
Yeah, I'd like to see you try, and I think that I kind of like shoulder check you, and then I extend my hand to Plateau in an actual greeting. Does Plateau take it?
Oh yeah, I think forearm clasp, not not
nice.
handshake. Does that feel right?
Nice.
Yes, it's the Predator clasp. Yes,
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
I understand media. So we see the clasp, and you know the frame is centered around Strickland and Plateau. There is Siege, sort of smile brimming on one side. There is Katerina with her usual sort of wry smile on the other. We see the group of the Deity Express, the Express Corporation CEO, Twice Gold, hugs you all. Beams wide. There is a celebration. There is a parade. There is confetti, and the camera just starts to slowly pan up. We see confetti drifting on the wind. We see lazy, small clouds and an empty sky. And the camera keeps panning up, and it pans up into, deeper blues, into darkness, into small twinkling stars. The home satellite turning slowly, flickering to itself. And then we fade to credits. Beam Saber. Strike, don't linger, and move forward. That was fucking dope, yo. That was sick.
great.
Nice.
Yeah, that
Good
was
work,
awesome.
everyone.
Nice. And
That-
cut. That's a wrap.
That's it. And now we
Ah.
need to do the Sonic Says segment. Sorry, Strickland, you're gonna have to tell people not to get into cars with strangers. I'm sorry. Okay, we're nearly up to the top of our time, so I do want to try and finish up at least somewhat on time. I've been Fiti Hazard. I am the she and the her. You can find me at Philo Hazard anywhere where good things are sold. I am also on a Beam Saber podcast, Admiralty Blues. Check it out. I also sell Beam Saber supply drops. If you like Beam Saber but wish there could be more of it, then check out my shit. Artie.
I'm Artie. He, him pronouns. You can find me, I guess, post hyper modern on Tumblr. I think. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, comma. Yeah, no, it makes sense. Austin?
Hi, I'm Austin Ramsay. I am currently in the final stages of leading a project called CalisCon, which is a Beam Saber Make a Game actual play series featuring 30 players across 6 interconnected play groups. Fee is one of those players.
I was
If you'd
going to
like,
make a goof about that. I'm very disappointed, but all right, please.
if you would like to know more about that, go to linktr.ee/CALAZCON. That's CalisCon, CALAZCON.
Lovely. And it's Hawk.
It's me. My name was Adam. He, they pronouns. You can find some of the games that I write at itch.io/Hawk Windrider. And you can find me nebulously on Twitter and Blue Sky, Hawk Windrider. Yeah, that's my social medias. Nailed it.
Proud of you. And finally, it's Ian.
I've been Ian. I think I will continue to be. I don't have any.
Names are flexible. Don't worry about it.
I don't have anything to plug, so I will thank our last couple of donors that we had come in here real quick,
Ooh, good
so that they
idea.
can start with a fresh slate on our next game. We have £10 from Mackenzie, who just popped in to say hi, Adam. Keep it up.
Thank you,
I hope that ending satisfied that keep it up requirement.
Yeah,
We
up actually means the body count, so that was great work.
Yeah.
We have £25 from Rosa. We have £25 from Anonymous, and ominously, we have £100 from the Divine Arbitrage.
Nice.
Oh boy. That's going to be in like crypto or something as well. Oh, little cheeky glint there for you. Right, I think we're good here. I think this has been Beam Saber Strike Don't Linger. Beam Saber is a fantastic game. It has been a very formative part of my life. I've been playing it for 4 years now, so thank you, Austin, for writing it. And
Aw.
I know, right? Well, we never get a chance to talk in person. It feels polite.
We're talking
And-
tomorrow.
What's your point? Thank you so much for listening. Please stick around. We've got Mouse Ritter next, I believe, which I'm sure will be a dang good time. About
Excited for that.
And such. So yeah, check it out. And thank you.